Alright, so this video is me just rating a whole bunch of anime that I've watched. I made a little list on my little notebook or whatever. I'm mad though, because there's way more anime that I've seen, but I can't really remember all of them off the top of my head. But I'm just gonna go off the ones I've seen. Hey, in my opinion, it's gonna make a lot of y'all mad, bro, because there's a lot of anime that y'all really love that I just do not like at all whatsoever. Hold on, y'all, let me move my damn fan. My room is hella crowded. I'm gonna have to clean out the back of my room. All right, but let's get started with this little list. So number one is the Pokemon anime. Now I was deciding before I made this video, I was like, do I want to do the movies with it too? I think I might do some of the movies too. So let me start off. So first of all, Pokemon Indigo League is my personal favorite. The very first Pokemon season is my favorite. The one where it's Brock and Misty and Ash and they going on a big adventure. I love it because it has all the things I like in an anime. Now let me tell you those things that I like in anime. I like when characters go on a long adventure. That's number one. Number two, I like seeing different places. I like seeing a variety of different locations. And the Pokemon universe has so many different locations. Even if some of them are similar, it's fun when you're watching the Pokemon anime to see all the different locations, see all the different gym leaders and how unique they look and the specific style that they use for their Pokemon. Like what type do they use? Do they have flying? Do they have water? You know what I'm saying? Do they use grass types? Stuff of that nature. So it's always really fun to see that and see how the city and the gym leader and the types all kind of coexist and kind of go together. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the Pokemon anime is. I think the Pokemon anime is way better than people give it credit for, to be honest. And I would say it's really good. Some of my personal favorite parts of the Pokemon anime is, for one, I love when Ash goes to Cinnabar Island and he fights Blaine in that freaking volcano gym. You know, and it's funny because it's different in the games, in the red, blue, yellow, fire red, leaf green. You know, let's go Pikachu, let's go Eevee. When you fight Blaine, you go into that gym and it's kind of like a scientific gym because we know he's a scientist and whatnot. But what I like is the anime did this thing where it's like the gym is inside of a volcano, and the anime always tries to make, you know, the things a little more unique. So I liked how I was inside of a volcano, but I also liked if you go back and you play Pokemon Crystal Gold and Silver and you play Heart Gold and Soul Silver, his freaking island literally gets like, I mean, his gym gets like blown up. There's like some big volcanic eruption, and his gym is basically like a small little gym. And if I remember, he moved his gym to the Seafoam Islands where you used to be able to catch Articuno. Um, and if I remember correctly, you can get all three legendary birds in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but not in Crystal Gold and Silver. If I remember Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you could get all three birds. I could be wrong about that, but if I remember correctly, they put them in that game. And you can get Mewtwo in that game too. You 100% can get Mewtwo. I remember that. You know, over there by Misty's gym, that one cave. Uh, but yeah, that was something I really liked. I also liked how they kind of made his design a little different in the anime. That was one of my personal favorites. Was the one where it's Charizard versus Magmar. It's Blaine versus Ash, and Charizard actually kind of listens a little bit because Charizard likes the challenge. And one thing I always thought was interesting about Charizard is the reason why he doesn't listen is because technically he's a traded Pokemon. Technically speaking, even though Ash just kind of got him in the wild, he was technically somebody else's Pokemon. That's why he was evolving so fast and why he didn't listen. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't really notice that, but that's pretty much the big reason. Um, and it took me a while to understand it too. So I was like, why does he never listen to Ash? Like, what the hell? And I figured that out a little bit later on when I became an adult. I didn't get it as a kid. I was like, why is he just not listening? Um, and I really like, you know, Ash's old school team. I feel like everybody loves, you know, Pidgeotto and Butterfree and Pikachu and Krabby and Bulbasaur and Squirtle, you know. So I feel like that's also another reason why I like it. It's very nostalgic, but I like it because Pokemon is a really unique anime. Like when you compare it to other animes, it's pretty unique, and the story is very vast, and it's just as long as One Piece is. Probably no, it's longer. It's longer than One Piece because it's like I think it's like 1,400 episodes or something. One Piece is trying to catch up, but Pokemon is above it. Pokemon has been past 1,000 episodes for a cool minute. Um, but there's that. I like the one where they go, where Ash, Brock, and Misty go to this city that kind of looks like Las Vegas. And if I remember correctly, that's the first episode that they see our Jigglypuff, who'll be writing on everybody's faces. Um, I also heard that the Jigglypuff is a shiny Jigglypuff. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it kind of, I can see it because it looks a little, what is it, brighter, if I remember. So there's that. Uh, what else do I like? I love Pikachu. His personality in the original Pokemon was really freaking funny. He had his catch up and he would just do goofy stuff. I really like that. Like he'd be like laying down and sleeping. There's the part where Ash tries to go to Erica's gym, and then Pikachu like pours the little water on the fire. That's hilarious. Um, I feel like the show was 10 times funnier too, especially with Team Rocket. Team Rocket is freaking funny, and it's funny because I did not like Team Rocket when I was a kid. I thought they were so annoying because I felt like they always like interrupted the episode because they would always pop up and Ash doing something. I used to be like, "Come on, bro, just get on with it, bro." They used to make me irritated as a kid. And I remember as a kid, I always really wanted Ash to fight the Elite Four. Um, but the Pokemon League in the show is hella different than the game. Like in the game, you fight the Elite Four and the champion. Um, but in the show, it's like different. Um, but yeah, that was something I really liked from the anime. I also liked how a lot of the characters were different. Like I remember in the Orange Islands, they meet Prima, which is Lorelai from the Elite Four, but her name is Prima for some reason. But I really like that. I like that little change. But they meet her in the Orange Islands, and that's one of my personal favorite episodes too. I always like when they meet like the Elite Four. I remember them meeting Lance, and he has the shiny red Gyarados. That was later on though. If I remember, that was in Hoenn, but that was cool too. I think he caught it in he caught the shiny Gyarados in Johto, but I haven't watched the Johto journeys in a long time. So I'm assuming he caught it and it showed him using it in the episodes. But I haven't watched Johto Journeys in super long. But Orange Islands I'll always be watching because it's just a couple of episodes. And then the Indigo League I watched to death. Um, I am gonna go back and watch Johto Journeys though, and Master Quest, and kind of want to go back and watch Diamond and Pearl too. Another one of my favorite episodes is from Diamond and Pearl. There's a what is it called? It's not Dusclops. It's not is it? I can't remember what it's called. It's that the new evolution in Diamond and Pearl, the newer one. I remember there was like an episode where basically there was like this little scary like ghost girl, and it showed that Pokemon in it, and it was in Diamond and Pearl, and they go to like this Pokemon training school or something. That was one of my favorite episodes. I want to go back and find that episode and watch it again because I always like when Pokemon does that scary stuff. Like when Ash died, like literally the Haunter and the Gengars freaking killed this man. Like he's dead, bro. Even though he does go back to it, he does go back into his body or whatever. But yeah, what else, bro? Um, oh, and Lapras too. I forgot about Lapras when Ash gets the Lapras in the Orange Islands, the little baby one. I really like that. There's just so much adventure in Pokemon. It's almost like I would say it's like pretty much on the same level as One Piece. They're like on the same level when it comes to adventure. People never bring that up though. People are always complaining about the Pokemon anime, and I'm like, bro, the Pokemon anime is fire. I love watching Pokemon. What the hell? It's so another thing with me is if you can go back and rewatch it over and over again. To me, that means it's good. And if I enjoy it every single time, that means it's good. If I feel like I can't go back and watch it again, then it sucks. So for me personally, the Pokemon anime is a 10 out of 10. I really can make an hour and a half long video talking about it. But the Pokemon anime is a 10 out of 10. When it comes to the movies, Pokemon Heroes with Latios and Latios is one of my favorite ones. Pokemon Forever, when we found out that Professor Oak was actually the little boy, that was amazing. That was mind-blowing as a kid. Those are two of my favorite Pokemon movies, both 10 out of 10 movies. I don't give a damn what anybody else talking about. Those are 10 out of 10 movies. Um, what was it? Was it Destiny Deoxys? Was that what the name of the movie? I think that was the name of the movie with Rayquaza. That one was good too. I'll give that one like an 8 out of 10. I remember really loving the one with I think it was Pokemon Movie 3 with the Entei and the Unknowns. I remember really loving that one as a kid. And I went back and watched it. I still kind of like it, but not as much as when I was a little kid. It was kind of mind blowing as a kid. Pokemon movie 2000 is still my movie though. That movie's fire with freaking Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno and Lugia. That one's fire. Pokemon the first movie, that one is fire. I haven't seen that the Play-Doh remake that they made where it looks like Play-Doh or whatever or stop motion. I ain't seen that one yet, but I kind of do want to watch that one. The one where the other one where Mewtwo comes, the Mewtwo like strikes again or something like that, that they redid. That one was kind of cool, even though that one looks more like a TV special than a movie. Um, what else, bro? I think that is it for Pokemon. Even though I can talk about Pokemon all day. There's so much stuff to like about Pokemon. My favorite Pokemon is Glaceon. One of my favorite ones. You can't. You can see it up there. See right there. And you can see I got the little Mew. I don't know. Y'all can't see the Mew backpack. I don't think. But yeah, really love Pokemon anime. 10 out of 10 for the anime. There's way more stuff I can talk about. I also play the games, and I also play like the ROM hacks. I play those too. Pokemon Clover is one of the ones I really like, but Pokemon Ruby Destiny was one of my favorite ones when I was younger, bro. Pokemon Ruby Destiny was like my life when I was like 12, 13 years old. I was like obsessed with that ROM hack. I don't know why I loved that so much, but I really did. And it was like a hacked, it was a Pokemon ROM created by Destin Jagold. And I remember meeting that guy on the airplane when I was going home from college, and it like blew my mind. I was like, bro, are you the Destin Jagold dude? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? It's crazy when you meet like the YouTubers, and he looked like he was around my age. So when he was doing the ROM hacks, I think he was like the same age as me. So it's kind of mind blowing that I actually met him, and I got his phone number and everything. That was on my old iPhone. I don't have that shit no more. But Pokemon anime, I'll give it 10 out of 10. The Yu-Gi-Oh anime. Yu-Gi-Oh anime, I ain't gonna lie, I really like the Capsule Monsters part. A lot of people didn't really like that one. I love the Capsule Monsters. I don't know why, but I really like that one. I give that one a 10 out of 10. I love the little the final duel with Yugi going against Atem, the Pharaoh. That was a good freaking Yu-Gi-Oh freaking match, bro. It blew my mind as a kid, bro. 10 out of 10 for that. It was so emotional. Um, the anime, I would probably give it like a 9 out of 10. It was pretty enjoyable. I love everything about Pegasus, Yu-Gi Boy. I like us like a joke in Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, and I used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge when I was in freaking college. I freaking love Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge. It's hella funny. But the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Though, the one that came on the Fox box, 4 kids. I personally like that one. I love how overly dramatic it is. Yu-Gi-Oh! Season Zero, I really like with the green-haired Kaiba, and when freaking Tim was just killing people and playing all these scary shadow games. I really like that one too. I remember getting the mangas of that and being confused as to why it was so different. I was like, why is it so different? That was before I realized that a lot of the time when they do like anime adaptations, they'll like change everything. Um, but at the same time, they had the two things going on at the same time. They had the original season zero, and then they changed it to Dual Monsters or whatever, and not Dual Monster. Yeah, I'm thinking of what's it called? That one show. But they started using the cards, the Yu-Gi-Oh monsters or whatever. Um, and the manga is kind of like it's like canon to it, but like not canon at the same time. Like they still use a couple of the old flashbacks and stuff, but it's like slightly different. Um, but I like both of them. I like season zero, and I like um, when they started playing the card game. But I like how they did do the card game though in season zero. If I remember correctly, they did the card game one time because I remember it being Yugi and Kaiba inside this box, like this death box, and they played the card game. I can see why though that they basically made the whole show about the cards because the cards part was like really entertaining. And it's actually kind of mind blowing how big Yu Gi Oh got. Yu Gi Oh is huge, especially the cards. The card game is so freaking huge. Season zero, I'll give it 10 out of 10. I really enjoy it. The manga, I give it 10 out of 10. I enjoyed it. You know, the one where they started using cards, I enjoyed too. 10 out of 10. Yu-Gi-Oh GX, I really like though, because Yu-Gi-Oh GX, I don't know what it is, but Yu-Gi-Oh GX kind of reminds me of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a little bit, and I think it's because they kind of came on around the same time as me being a kid, but they remind me of each other for some reason. I think it's because they're both kind of over the top. But Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, I really, really liked as a kid. That one's like a 12 out of 10. And I love the little season that they didn't dub. I watched that one too, the really dark one. I think it was season 4 or season 3. That was really dark. I watched that one. That one was really good. And that's when they brought in, I think the monster is called Yabel. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's the name of the monster. Um, you know, what else? I like Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal was good too. I like that one. That one looks cool. I like how the main character looks. I stopped because I remember what was it? Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Yu-Gi-Oh! with the dual monsters. Freaking not dual monsters. I keep calling it dual monsters, but y'all know what I mean. Freaking Yu-Gi-Oh! Season Zero. I liked all of those. Um, After that, I didn't really watch it that much though. There's like all these new ones. I didn't watch any of them after that. I remember watching Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds at 8 o'clock in the morning when I would go to school. I remember watching Yu-Gi-Oh! GX because it would be like on demand on like Comcast on demand. I remember watching that. Um, and then the original Yu-Gi-Oh! I remember watching. And Yu-Gi-Oh! ZX I watched on the, what was it, the Vortex or whatever, 4Kids. I remember liking all of those. Oh, another one I forgot about that's not even on my list. Bakugan. Bakugan is a 10 out of 10 too. I don't care, bro. I love Bakugan, bro. Again, I'm going off of enjoyment, but I really love Dan and freaking Dragonoid. And I used to play with Bakugan, and it used to just be fun as heck to play Bakugan. And then finding out that I think her name was Alice, finding out she was Masquerade was like mind blowing as a kid. I give Bakugan a 10 out of 10. But people gonna be like, really, really, nigga. Um, Next will be Sonic X, bro. Sonic X, I really liked as a kid, like a lot. But going back and watching it, I'll say I give it like an 8, not a 10 out of 10. Um, and I think that might just be because I'm an adult now, and sometimes I'll see like the like animation errors and stuff, and I just be like, because sometimes like it looks kind of goofy looking. But I still love everything Sonic. I still love it. I love how in the anime, when they get to the Sonic Adventure part, they have like Knuckles and Sonic both fight Chaos. I think it was Chaos 2. It was either Chaos 1 or it was Chaos 2. He had 2 emeralds. So instead of it being Knuckles fighting Chaos 2, it's Sonic and Knuckles fighting Chaos 2. I thought that was really cool. I like the little changes they made. Or like when they verse Chaos 4, it's Tails and Sonic fighting Chaos 4. I thought that was cool in the anime. And I like how there's like a difference between the games, the anime for Sonic X, and then the Archie Sonic X. Like all of them have different stories for Sonic Adventure. Like completely different stories. It's kind of funny. They low key don't even feel like they use the same characters, but a lot of the scenes are so different. But there's certain stuff that I like in Sonic X more than I like in Sonic Adventure, and there's certain stuff in Sonic Adventure I like more than the Archie comics, and you know, um, what. And I like how like in the Archie Sonic, there's like different forms of chaos. Like he has some extra forms. It's pretty cool. I would give it though. I'd give Sonic X 8 out of 10. Highlights of the show. Chris doesn't bother me as much as he bothers everybody else. Everybody hates Chris, and I think they just kind of like to whine about him because he's a little kid. But I justify his whininess and his horrible behavior because first of all, he's a rich kid. For two, he's a little kid. If I remember correctly, Chris is supposed to be like 10. So of course he's gonna be whiny and crybaby-ish, and he's spoiled. He usually gets everything he wants. So Chris doesn't really bother me that much. You know what I'm saying? I like Chuck. I like his grandpa. And the crazy thing about Sonic X is I have like so many of the 4Kids used to do this thing where basically the anime shows and TV shows they had like this DVD thing that came with 2 episodes in it. There's 2 episodes in one from 4Kids. I had a Yu-Gi-Oh version of it, and then I have like 10 of the Sonic ones, and they used to have them at Walmart. You used to have to really go and look for them. They don't have them no more, sadly, but you basically used to get just 2 episodes. and I have like 10 of those. Some of them I don't even know where they're at. They're like gone forever. And then some of them my sister I think has. But yeah, I used to buy those all the time when it comes to like the Sonic ones. And then I have like one Yu-Gi-Oh one. Um, but yeah, I really like Sonic. Some of my favorite episodes. Any of the episodes of Chaos in it, I love. All my friends know I love Sonic Adventure DX, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Those are two of my favorite Sonic media of all time. And I love the Archie comics because they're all over the place and crazy. Um, yeah, what else? I want to say my favorite episodes of Sonic. I like the one where Knuckles meets Hawk. He goes to like this different place, um, and he meets Hawk, and then Rouge is around, and then there's like this ninja that Eggman makes. It's purple, and Knuckles fights the ninja, and he has this friend named Hawk, and they're kind of walking around the city, and it has like this Japanese feel to it. I think they're supposed to be Japanese people, and Hawk is supposed to be like Japanese. But I like seeing Knuckles having his own homie and going on his own adventure. The Hawk episode is one of my favorite ones. Um, if you've watched all of Sonic X, you know which episode I'm talking about. I personally like that one a lot. I just love seeing Knuckles do his own thing. Um, I love the episode when they're on the egg carrier and we see Gamma and he lets Amy out of the freaking jail cell, and I like that one. Um, I like the Metarex arc too. I think it was the first episode of the Metarex arc where it's Sonic in space fighting as Super Sonic. I really like that episode. I like the one where Dark Sonic comes and he like Sonic gets super angry and we see Dark Super Sonic for like 30 seconds. Well, it was even 30 seconds, it was like 10, and he kills the two robots super duper fast. That episode was really good. Um, what else? I'm trying to think. What other episode? Like I like the one where they're stuck on the ship. That's a good one. That's one I had. I have one DVD. Um, I have like the Sonic Screen Test DVD. I like the one where Sonic races the dude in a race car. I think it's Chris's uncle, and he races him in the race car. That one's really good. I love the one where Chris's mom is doing the acting, and they're like living in this castle while she's doing the acting, and then they meet what is it, King Boo, Boo King Boo Boo something, the giant ghost, and that giant ghost is from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. He's actually in that game, and Knuckles fights him, so it's cool to see him in the actual anime show. And Sonic versus him. I thought that was really cool, and it was a really creepy episode. I always love the scary, creepy episodes. So that was a good one. And it was funny when he was like tricking Amy. He's like, "You're the best, Amy." I was like, "I'm hella addicted." But that's one of my favorite episodes too, because it was like really dark for a Sonic episode. I love the dark shit. Um, what else, bro? There's a robot that Eggman makes. I think its name is Lucky, where it looks like a little bell. I could be wrong about the name, but I think it was Lucky. And he looks like a little bell. I really like the episode with him in it. And then there's like the giant robot that Eggman uses, and then Sonic turns to Super Sonic and fights him. Anything with Super Sonic in it basically is like my favorite episode. And anything with the Sonic Adventure part of the anime is my favorite. Um, I always wish they would have did Sonic '06 in Sonic X, and I always wish they would have did Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic X. That would have been really freaking cool. You know, there's so much stuff they could have did with Sonic X, or just make a new Sonic anime. Really, um, one of my favorites though is the Sonic OVA. That one's fire. The one on YouTube where it's Sonic versus Metal Sonic, and then Knuckles has like his little hat. I love that, bro. I want more of that series. I want there to be like 10 more Sonic OVAs. I really love that OVA. I might watch that later, bro. What else, bro? I just love Sonic, bro. But Sonic X, I'll give an 8 out of 10. I really like it. Let's see, we got Inuyasha. I recently just went back and watched Inuyasha. I ain't gonna lie, I kept falling asleep to it. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I like Inuyasha though, bro, because I remember watching it to death when I was like 15, but I was like obsessed with it. I think it's because I read the manga and then I watched the show. That might have like changed it like tremendously. But this time I just watched the show. It kind of made me fall asleep a couple of times, but I still was entertained by it. I would say it's not a 10 out of 10. No, I'd probably say it's like a 7 or an 8. I'm not gonna lie. But I can see the inspiration that Demon Slayer took from Aniyasha. Like you can like clearly see it, like with the threads and stuff. Like the thread girl, the really cute thread girl. Like the weird spider people in Demon Slayer use the little spider web thread things. Like they got that from freaking Inuyasha. Like it's hella obvious. Oh shoot, that's another one I forgot. Hold on, y'all. Let me put that on my list. It's freaking Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer. But I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Um, Kill La Kill. Okay, so I like Kill La Kill. Um, I like it because it's a girl main character for an action show. I believe it's a shonen. I think, but it does cuss a lot for a shonen. But I think it is a shonen. It might not be though. But I really like that one mostly because, like I told y'all before, I like shows that have really interesting locations. I like the city they live in. The city is very interesting. The animation and art style is very different. I like how the girls use like battle suits. Um, and the story is entertaining. The story's pretty entertaining, and it's cutesy wootsy. I like how the main character is she's kind of arrogant, kind of cocky, low key. She's kind of adorable too, but she got like a little spunky attitude. Like she's like a tomboy type. Um, there's some pervy moments in it though that kind of ruin it low key. Because I'm the type I really get kind of burnt out if they do too much pervy stuff. Like some pervy stuff can be funny, but if it's like your show just keeps endlessly doing it, it's like, all right, bro, like chill out. Um, I would give it. I haven't finished it though. I was on like episode like 17. I'll give it like a 9 so far because I was pretty entertained and I like the villains in it and I like her suit that she uses and how it like takes her blood and stuff like that. That's kind of cool. Um, if a show is really creative, I usually like it more too. If it's like unique and creative. So the show is unique, of course, because it's a girl instead of a boy, and because of her suit. Her suit is unique, and then the place they're, located in is unique, and then the art style is it changes a lot and is unique. So I'll give it what did I say, an 8 or a 9? I'll give it a 9. Very unique, different from most anime shows, so I'll give it that. Next is Akira, that freaking 80s movie that everybody was so obsessed with, that they say is so amazing. I would give this movie like a 3. To be honest, the only reason I feel like most people like Akira is because it looks cool. The action looks cool, the animation looks cool, but if you really sit there, the characters look very goofy looking, and there is no freaking story in the movie. But the movie looks cool looking. You know what I'm saying? So if we're going by like animation and how high quality choreography is, I'll give it a 10 for that. But if we're talking about story, I give it like a 2. And watching it, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was really bored watching this whole movie. Like I was kind of sitting there trying to, understand what makes it so amazing besides the like animation and the art. People really like it for the whole explosions and it looks pretty. It's a pretty looking movie. But story wise, it's not that good. I heard that the manga came out afterwards, so they were kind of cramming a whole bunch into the movie. I don't know why they didn't just take their time and make it like a 4-part movie. That would have been smarter. Um, but to me personally, I think Akira is the most like overrated movie ever. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I was so bored watching this movie. It really was not that good to me. Now there are other people who are gonna say it's a 10 out of 10 movie. It's freaking amazing because if you go watch it in the movie theater, it's freaking amazing. That might be true, but I still am not really entertained by the story. You know what I'm saying? The story was just like non-existent. So I don't know. I personally say it's a 3. I don't think it's that good. I think it's overrated and it's super boring to me personally. But it looks pretty. But the character designs for the characters look goofy looking. But again, it's an anime, so some anime make the characters look goofy on purpose. That's just their style of art. But I think it's like super overrated. I'll give it like a 3. I ain't gonna lie. What else do we have here? Code Geass is mid. I ain't gonna lie to you. Code Geass is mid. I watched all of it. I watched it when I came home from college, and I used to watch it in the morning time while I ate breakfast, and it like slightly had my attention. It was like I was kind of into it. I was like, this is kind of interesting. This is kind of cool. This is kind of fun to watch. I kind of like how the mechas look. I kind of like Lelouch's, power. It was just a lot of kind ofs in there. And I felt like I was just watching because it was something new. You know how you'll watch something because it's new, but it's mid. It's like a 5 out of 10. It's like it's not super good. It's not horrible. It's 5 out of 10. I don't really like how the characters look. That could be another issue with it. I don't really like how they look. And the mecha thing, they needed to put a little more effort into the mecha part too. I liked how the mechas look, but it's just kind of too simple. I feel like they should have just went a little harder. I actually think Code Geass might have been better as a movie with better character designs for the characters. Um, if I remember correctly, there's no manga and it's strictly like they just made it from scratch. I can see it. Um, but I would say it's mid when it comes to like the enjoyment that I had. I also want to say this too. I do have rules for my shows. Like I touched on it a little bit earlier. Depends on how unique the location is that the story is in. If the characters look very interesting looking, I do look at character designs. If the choreography of the fights is good, if the story is interesting, and of course, if it keeps my attention. And I will also say this: if a main character is a dude and he's too whiny, he acts kind of like a bitch, he's kind of a crybaby, and if he has any type of like pedophile tendencies, the anime gets like literally a zero if the main character is secretly or low key a pedophile. It is what it is. Um, but yeah, Code Geass, it was like 5. It's mid. It is what it is. It is. There are people going to say that there's something wrong with me. It's just as good as Death Note. Because I think it was like a My Anime list or something like that that I had read on the internet that said, because I was looking for a show like Death Note, and it said that it was just as good as Death Note. And specifically when it comes to like the mind games and stuff, I can kind of see that being true because the mind games Lelouch played were really good. Um, but the animation for Death Note looks cooler, and Death Note is way more iconic. Characters in Death Note look way better. It just is what it is. Light Yagami and L are freaking iconic. Lelouch wasn't really that iconic to me. I ain't gonna lie. And his friend, I can't even remember the friend's name, but he's voiced by the English voice for Sasuke from Naruto Shippuden and Naruto and Boruto. Um, but yeah, it's mid to me personally. Let me see what else we have here. Neon Genesis Evangelion is a 0. Let me stop. Let me stop. I'll give it like a 2. It has the same issue that Akira has, where it looks pretty, it looks unique. I love the freaking style of the suits they use when they get inside the Evas. I would buy a poster of it because it looks cool. Like a poster of Akira and a poster of Neon Genesis Evangelion looks cool. But when I watch the shows, I'm bored. I also, like I said before, I don't really like whiny main characters. And let me put this out here too, a disclaimer. I don't mind if the character starts out whiny, as long as he changes and he grows and he's not whiny the whole show. And I'm gonna get into another anime later on where I'll explain, how he's whiny, but it's justified and it doesn't annoy me. But I believe his name is Shinji. He's like the worst main character of all freaking time. He's a whiny bitch who complains all the time and whines all the time. I don't care if he's a middle schooler. I don't care if he's going through puberty and fighting in a war. He's not likable at all. He's freaking annoying. And that might be the whole point of the story, but it irritates me. I don't like simp type main characters as well who let women bully them and push them around like they ain't shit. That also annoys me. So that little girl who wears the red suit, that like bullies him, she also gets on my freaking nerves. I low key feel like they should like throw her in the water. She's just freaking annoying. And then the blue haired girl has no freaking soul and no emotions whatsoever. And then the scene where he literally masturbates to the freaking little girl while he's in the bed and he's like, I'm fucked up. Yes, you're a freaking creepy weirdo, bro. You're freaking weird as fuck. And I've had so many, I'm not trying to be racist, but I've had so many white guys tell me that the story is so freaking deep. I'm like, bro, no, it's not. No, it's not. All it is a little boy He fights in a war. He uses a freaking mech, and he's a freaking pervert. It's not that deep, bro. And then somebody told me, well, you have to go through depression to understand it. If I gotta go through 15 different things to understand it, it ain't that good. It's okay for y'all to think it's the best anime ever. That's fine. But when you put it next to Berserk, I'm like, you guys are freaking crazy. Because that is a masterpiece. Neon Genesis Evangelion is not a masterpiece at all. I don't understand how you guys think it's a masterpiece. And you guys are always saying about how it's relatable. It's relatable fighting in a war as a kid with a mech suit on that's trying to balance being a teenager going through puberty and fighting in a war. I guess you guys are gonna like make this example of it being like, well, we always fight a war in ourselves. Okay, fair enough, whatever. I still don't think it's a good show. I think it looks pretty, and I feel like it tries to be super deep, but it's not really that deep. I think you guys like it because it just looks pretty. Like there's some scenes in it that look cool. Like all the scenes where it shows Shinji and he's like in the blood and stuff like that. It looks cool. The mechas look freaking awesome. But the story is freaking dog boo boo. It's literally hot dog water. It's not good. Like I watched the whole thing. It was boring. It is what it is. Animation wise, 10 out of 10. Art wise, 10 out of 10. Story wise, 0. So it kind of balances out to be like a 3 or a 4, in my opinion. It's overrated as hell. It is. And I feel like putting it in your top 5 is crazy. Hold on. There's another one I want to add to the list. GTO. I forgot about GTO. GTO. That pen's not working. Hold on. GTO. Again, this is my own personal opinion, but I just don't think Neon Genesis Evangelion is good. I don't know how you guys can watch it and not get irritated by the Shinji nigga and the freaking girl who bullies him all the time and the freaking girl who with the blue hair who has no emotions whatsoever. Like none of the characters are likable. None of them really have any character growth. None of them are really as deep as the show tries to make it seem. But you can look at it and see that the show is more of like a passion project. But yeah, it's not that good to me. It's really not. It's like a 3 out of 10 if I was to give it an actual rating. I really don't like it at all. And I think the weird thing of him masturbating to a girl who's literally in critical condition and about to die, and you see the jizz on his hand is freaking disgusting. And it's not even deep. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so deep. You guys, actually, this show is so iconic and so much psychologicalness to it. I'm like, dude, it's trash. The show is not good, bro. Like, what the hell? I'm like, am I missing something? Do I need to rewatch it again to be disgusted again to give it a higher rating? It's not good. I'm sorry. I also don't like shows that make men look like we're just all super duper creepy and obsessed with having sex and that's all we are. That can get kind of old. And then if we don't get it, we're just a bunch of whiny bitches. That annoys me too. I don't like shows that do that. That's just me. But I really can't stand when shows do bullshit like that. Because I'm like, nigga, and I hate shows that make it seem like dudes are just mindless sex drones who are freaking retarded, who aren't intelligent. Like, nigga, I didn't read so many books. I have a college degree. Like, we're not all retarded, sex crazy maniacs. Like, yes, we love sex, but I mean, goddamn, I'm just burned out of like anime shows that make us look like crybabies who can't get a woman. That shit just gets kind of old. But yeah, 3 out of 10, highly overrated. Should not be in your favorite of all time list, in my personal opinion. If you like it and you think it's a 10 out of 10 and it's better than every other anime, go crazy. Because I've heard people say that. I just don't get the hype at all. And it really just ruined it when he beat his meat and you see the jizz on his hand. That just really ruined the shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Let me see what else we got. Naruto. So look, can I be real with y'all? I'm gonna be real with y'all. As hell. I still think it's good, but I think it's overrated. Calling it the best anime ever is wild to me when it comes to this show. But I can see why. I can see why you guys consider it the best anime of all time. And if you haven't seen a lot of anime, I can see why too. And if you said that it was the best anime ever, if you skipped all the fillers, ignored all the fillers, and you said it was, I could kind of see where you're coming from. But the problem with Naruto is that, if I remember correctly, Naruto Shippuden has filler mixed with canon episodes, which is some bullshit. Like, who does that? So you're forced to watch filler-filled episodes. It's kind of wild. Manga wise, I'll give the manga for Naruto. I'll give it probably like an 8. It's a good manga. The anime, when it comes to the original Naruto, I'll give it like a 9. Um, Naruto Shippuden, I would give like a 6. I feel like Naruto Shippuden has so many freaking problems with it, but it's like you like it because the fights are really freaking cool. But again, I'm going by the show of Naruto Shippuden. It's like a 6, maybe a 5. The original Naruto is good though. If you don't watch all those random fillers that they made for the original Naruto, which are after the main story, then you're good. Um, but yeah, I do think though, as a whole, it's kind of an overrated show. I don't think it's bad though. That's the thing. I don't think Naruto is a bad show. As I enjoyed it a lot as a kid. I remember watching it when the episodes were brand new when I was like 10 years old. So I would never say it's trash, but I do think it's hella overrated. And if I was to give a rating of all the shows together, and I'm talking about Naruto, Naruto Shippuden, and Boruto, just all together as a franchise, I'd give it like a 7. I feel like that's fair. But I'm not gonna like bash it and go in like other people do. I don't, because I don't truthfully think it's horrible, but I do think it's overrated though. So 7 out of 10. I would say I mostly do like it for the fights. I'm not gonna lie to you, and the character designs. I have literally have a poster of it. Um, my top favorite characters, I love Minato. I love Naruto's dad. I love who else I like. I like Madara. I like Itachi. My favorite is Obito though. I really love him. I love his backstory. I think his backstory is a 10 out of 10. Um, you know, and you could see that Kishimoto took from so many different places. Like I could sit here and make a whole like hour-long video of like where he got all of his inspiration from because I can actually see it. It's kind of wild that a lot of people don't see it, but I can see it. Same thing with One Piece. Let's see what other fights I like. Sasuke versus Itachi. That's one of my favorite fights. I like Kakashi versus Obito. It's one of my favorite fights. Um, the last Naruto versus Sasuke fight was fire. Um, Sasuke versus Killer Bee was fire. This show has fire fights. Like if we going strictly on fights, 10 out of 10 when it comes to fights. No other anime show has better fights than Naruto. It's the truth. Um, the choreography in the show is just clean. Freaking what was it? I think his name was Kakazu versus freaking Kakashi. That fight is tough as fuck. I love that fight. That fight was fire as fuck. Um, what other ones do I like? Madara versus the Shinobi Alliance. I heard that's filler, believe it or not. Still a 10 out of 10. Naruto has 10 out of 10 fillers sometimes. Hey, that's a W. A win is a win. um, what else do I like? What other fights do I like? I actually like the one with Kabuto fighting Naruto. And well, it's the three Sanin fighting, and Kabuto is also fighting, and Kid Naruto. And I love how Kid Naruto like blocks Kabuto's punch to protect Tsunade. Like I like that little fight they had. That fight was like a 9 out of 10 for me. And he uses the Rasengan and shit. That was a good little fight. Um, Naruto is iconic, but I don't consider it the best anime of all time though. I feel like that's like wild. Um, but yeah, y'all already heard. I already gave y'all a bunch of ratings for it. You know that I'm not hating on it. I'm not gonna say it's trash. That's just rude because it's not trash. Heavily inspired by freaking so many things though that you can see it. It's actually kind of mind blowing. Like how inspired it is from Dragon Ball is like mind blowing. Like even the first couple of covers, Naruto wearing orange, the clouds on the back of the car. Like bro, like you really just straight up just copying it 100%. Um, I'm pretty sure when it comes to freaking when it comes to Kurama, I feel like they copy Yu Yu Hakusho with that. Sasuke is wild because Sasuke is a fusion character. He's a fusion of Vegeta, Hiei, Kurapika, and Killua. Tell me I'm lying. He has the electricity of Killua. It's the same color. He has the red eyes like Kurapika. He freaking has the black hair like Vegeta and Hiei. He uses the sword like Hiei. Um, and when it comes to Vegeta, it's hella obvious that he copied Vegeta. Even Kishimoto says that he copied Vegeta. Um, There's even some scenes in it. If I remember, I can't remember if those are real scenes or if somebody just kind of made fan made pictures, but it's like showed like them doing the poses of a freaking Vegeta and Goku. That might be fake. It might be a fake picture, but it's hella obvious that he's like literally a clone of all those characters. It's actually kind of mind blowing. I mean, he literally takes the eyes of Karapika, the dragon flame from Hiei, the black dragon flame, changed it to Amaterasu. That's wild. Like it's literally a fusion character. I feel like Naruto is a love letter to anime. I think that's what it's supposed to be. It's like a love letter to old samurai movies and whatnot. There's also a lot of characters that are inspired by like old Japanese folk tales and stuff like that, like Jiraiya and Tsunade and freaking what's his name, Orochimaru. Orochimaru is also inspired by Hisoka. It's hella obvious. The freaking tuning exams is inspired by the Hunter exams. It copies it a good chunk. Um, it is what it is. It's pretty obvious, but that doesn't mean the Naruto's bad. Like I can see why people think that's iconic, but it does take inspiration from hella shit. Um, that's not a bad thing though. That's not a bad thing. I take a lot of inspiration from my novel. Like when my novel comes out, people are gonna be like, "Bro, that's from One Piece. That's from Naruto. That's from this. That's from that." Um, so I'm not trying to like go in on Naruto. I do think it's still good. It's still entertaining. There's a lot of stuff I still like about it, but it's clearly like inspired by hella shit. But again, if I put it all together and putting all the series together, Naruto, Naruto Shippuden, boom, all together, 7 out of 10. I feel like that's fair. And again, I'm going with the animes with it. So the fillers with it and everything. You know, boom. 7 out of 10. That's fair. If anybody goes in on me for that, hey, that's on y'all. Let me see what else I got here. We have One Piece. One Piece, I'm biased because One Piece is one of my favorite anime of all time. But I've heard people say it's garbage. I've heard people say that they hate it because of the syrup arc, the one Usopp arc, the introduction to Usopp. I actually agree that that arc is garbage, and that's one of the arcs that a lot of people think is boring. My sister thought that arc was boring. My cousin thought that arc was boring. I'm a big, huge One Piece fan. I thought that arc was boring and thought it was trash. So yeah, that arc actually turns a lot of people off from One Piece. They hate that freaking arc. I honestly would say just skip that one. Honestly, it is one of the worst arcs, but I do like the inspiration for it. It's the Boy Who Cried Wolf mixed with Pinocchio. That's pretty much what Usopp is, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that arc really ain't shit. Um, but One Piece is my all-time favorite anime, so I'm biased. Um, and it has everything I like. First of all, its world building is maxed out. Like it's literally like 20 out of 10. The world building is maxed out to death. Like there's nothing else. Like Oda has done pretty much everything you could do in a damn anime. That's why it's like the number one manga of all time. Um, Character growth in this show is amazing. The character designs are amazing, even though I've heard people say the character designs are trash. I'm like, you just ain't watched the show or you're looking at the background characters because we have so many cool looking characters, so many unique characters. Kizaru, Aokiji, Akainu, Luffy, Zoro, Marco, Whitebeard. How the hell do like when I hear bad character design, I'm like, are you watching the show? Crocodile, Law, Room Shambles, nigga, what the kid, Kaido. Big Mom is a good design. People say she looks bad. Big Mom is the shit. What the hell? All of Big Mom's children. Pudding, Katakuri, even the little sister that was talking shit that like floats in the eggshell. She's a good. I think was it an eggshell? I think so. Good design. It is what it is. There's people who talk shit about One Piece. It has really cool character designs. You guys just aren't watching the show. You're just not watching it. There's no freaking way. It has really good character designs. I don't know what the hell y'all be talking about. So character designs in One Piece are 10 out of 10. Alvida, when she gets the smooth fruit and turns into a beautiful woman, badass design. Boa Hancock, badass design. Amazon Lily, like 90% of the females there look badass. One of them looks like a man, but 99% of them look badass. Blackbeard is a cool design. Freaking Doflamingo is a badass design. Freaking what's his name? Anel is a cool design. Who else? Who else? Who else? Yamato is a cool design. Kiku is a cool design. Um, Odin is a really cool design. Um, Even the Shogun, freaking what's his name? The little small little nigga. I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh. Even he looks pretty cool. Even though he's like goofy looking, little creepy little nigga, he looks kind of cool looking. All the mermaids look cool. Um, what's her name? What's her name? Perona. She's my favorite female character. That's my waifu, Perona. Koala. That's another waifu of mine. Freaking Robin. Both of them, pre time skip and post time skip. Robin, I love both of them. Rob Lucci is a really cool design. Uh, uh, Khalifa is a cool female character. She was pretty as fuck, and she was badass, and I like her soap power. Somebody said the soap power was your trash power. That power is cool as hell and overpowered. What are y'all talking about? I hate when people talk about One Piece. Like, it's like y'all not watching the same show. Like, I like unique powers like that. There ain't no other show you've ever seen where a freaking main villain, well, a side main villain uses soap powers, and it's unique and actually good. Oda uses every idea he gets, and the world building is just top notch. 10 out of 10. Character designs are literally 10 out of 10. Fights are kind of a mixed bag in One Piece. I ain't gonna lie. I say like 7 out of 10 for the fights. The story, 10 out of 10. Nigga, all the arcs, I'm not gonna say they all 10 out of 10s, but there's a lot of them I like. Even the ones that a lot of people don't like, I like. Thriller Bark was cool because it felt like a Scooby Doo show. It literally felt like Scooby Doo. Like, I don't understand why you guys don't like that one. Punk Hazard, I can kind of see why you guys don't like it because Caesar wasn't really that interesting of a villain in the little kids thing with him experimenting on the little kids. I don't really like when they do that a lot in a lot of anime shows. I don't really want to hear about bad things happening to little kids. So that I can see that turning people off. Um, but I still kind of like Punk Hazard because I love the world building, and it's literally like Akainu and Aokiji fought each other, and that's why the island is half ice, half fire. We meet Kinemon, the samurai and whatnot that has the fire powers. We can cut through fire. Law makes everybody switch bodies. That was interesting. So when people say they don't like Punk Hazard, I'm like, I don't know, bro. I enjoyed all of Punk Hazard. I give Punk Hazard like an 8 out of 10. I really liked it. The fight with Law, the Flamingo fighting out Kiji. I don't know, bro. I thought that was tight. I thought it was cool. And Thriller Bark was good to me. Thriller Bark has one of the best scenes of One Piece of all time, where Zoro literally takes Luffy's pain. Like, how do y'all think that Thriller Bark is trash? Thriller Bark was fun as hell. Um, what else? But I agree with the Syrup Village arc being trash. I agree with y'all on that one. Arlen Parker's fire. Um, I love how Oda will use something and then reuse it like 100 chapters later, and it kind of feels like foreshadowing. I like the twists and turns of One Piece. Like Alvina getting a new fruit and getting a new design was really like clever to me. Us finding out that Vivi is a princess was cool to me, and the original two characters, Vivi and that other goofy looking dude, they felt like Team Rocket a little bit, and I like that. They had like a Team Rocket goofiness to them. They even had a goofy animal with him, the freaking duck, and I love the duck. The duck is funny. Um, Chopper's story was good. There's a lot of good stories in One Piece, and they always feel like a fairy tale. Dressrosa was a 10 out of 10 to me. I don't care if people say it was too long. Dressrosa was amazing. I could sit here and talk about Dressrosa for like an hour and a half. Um, Wano was a 10 out of 10. People say it's boring, and they're like, "Oh, Oda should have did more." And nigga, he's done enough for Wano. Wano has been going on for 3 years. We're done. Do y'all really want it to be another 2 years in Wano, bro? That's too long. Y'all complain about it being too long, and then you guys are like, "Oda didn't do enough." But if y'all don't pick a side, bro, what the hell? Um, but I think Wano was a 10 out of 10. I love the little stories going on in Wano. Like the little story where there's like the fox spirit guarding all the swords of the people that died. That was fire to me. And Zoro actually fighting the fox spirit and it turning out that the fox spirit tried to protect the place for as long as it could. That was fire. Me personally, to me, One Piece is literally a 10 out of 10. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Me personally. But again, I like goofiness. It has maxed out world building, really freaking cool characters, pretty good fights. Story is a 10 out of 10 and fun as hell. If you take out the Syrup Village arc, it's literally the perfect show. There are people who say that it drags on too much. I feel like that's nitpicky. I feel like that's just you just nitpicking. Or people just saying it's too long. I feel like that's nitpicking too. Because you really could just pick up the manga and just read it all online. And you could literally read it probably in like 2 days if you actually read the manga like online, just nonstop. You could literally read all of it probably like during a weekend if you sat down and just read it for that whole 2 days. You could pretty much read it all the way up and know what's going on. So I feel like that shit is kind of nitpicky. Um, the character designs, like I said before, look cool. I like how they change outfits. Luffy and them don't ever wear the exact same outfits. Every character has a really cool backstory. Robin's backstory was good. Water 7 is literally the freaking is peak fiction to me. Water 7 is peak fiction. Water 7 is peak anime arc, bro. I don't care what y'all say. It's up there with the Saving Rukia revival arc in Bleach, which is one of the best anime arcs of all time. I don't care what nobody says. Me personally, One Piece is 10 out of 10. I love it. I love everything about it pretty much. There is certain stuff I don't like though. I don't like how Sanji, his character changed. He used to be kind of like a 007 character. He's also based on the one guy from Reservoir Dogs, the one dude that was also in Spy Kids, that was the crazy scientist that had the whole island with all the different creatures and stuff. Um, Sanji started out being like a cool, suave dude who's a chef, who's smooth with ladies, who's obsessed with ladies. He didn't feel like a pervert when he first popped up. And then they turned him into like this guy where literally it's like he's the biggest pervert ever. He has these like nosebleeds all day, every day, and it's just freaking annoying. I'm like, dude, they made Sanji annoying and way too pervy, and it just kind of irritates me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because it's like he's too pervy. Like dudes, like we're pervy, but it's like goddamn, like anime shows be making us just look horrible when we ain't even not even close to that freaking pervy, bro. Like sneaking and literally walking around in the locker room invisible to see women naked is wild. Like that's just wild, bro. But I really like freaking what is it called? Whole Cake Island. That arc was fire too. 10 out of 10. I've actually watched some videos where they proved, well, not proved, but they basically were talking about how that arc is bad and how it contradicts like earlier arcs. Let me tell you something. Human beings contradict themselves. Human beings are hypocrites. Okay, stories contradict themselves all the time. All right, Whole Cake Island is still written really good. If a show can make you cry multiple times, it's written good. When the freaking Going Merry got burned up, but it tried to take the freaking Straw Hats away from what is the place called? Not Water. It was part of Water 7 arc. Enies Lobby. When the ship came and picked everybody up, and then the ship just freaking broke in half, and then it was on fire and shit, and they were crying because Going Merry, was on fire. That was a 10 out of 10. I cried, bro. I cried. There's some of y'all like, oh, it's corny, it's a shit. Shut the fuck up. That was a sad ass death. I don't care what y'all say, bro. One Piece has some good freaking storytelling, bro. I don't care. The show has made me cry like 20 times, bro. Even when we go back and look at Naruto, Naruto has not made me cry, bro. Not one time. It's made me teary-eyed, but it's never made me cry. One Piece made me bawl, nigga. Like, nigga, One Piece is good. I don't care what nobody says, bro. There are like 1,000 videos on YouTube about them talking about how One Piece is bad as a show, or it's too childish, or it's too, it's for people who are immature and all this. Yes, I agree that there are scenes in it that I do not like that are childish and immature and stupid sometimes. I actually agree with that. Like I said, when it comes to the Sanji shit, because I just get burnt out of like over the top perviness. And then there's like one part in Thriller Bark where there's like the tiger dude Epsilon, and he's like has invisible powers, and it low key looks like he's gonna like try to rape Nami. That was weird too and hella unnecessary. And they kind of played it off like it wasn't that big of a deal. Nah, that shit was creepy as fuck. 0 out of 10 for that. That shit wasn't funny or nothing. You know, rape is not funny, bro. It is what it is. It's not. But I still like that arc in general. I'll give. Honestly, what arcs of One Piece do I not like? The Syrup Village arc's trash. But every other arc I like, pretty much. I can't think. I didn't like the Reverie arc. That shit was boring. I skipped that and watched Wano instead. That was boring. I still would give the show a 10 out of 10, bro. Manga, I would give like a 12 out of 10. The show, I would still give a 10 out of 10, even though it's like, yeah, sometimes the characters look kind of bad, but it's a weekly shonen show. I mean, it is what it is. There's going to be times where it looks ugly. I feel like that's not fair. I feel like you guys kind of go too hard on it when it's literally a weekly show. So, of course, it's not going to look gorgeous all the time. I feel like your guys' expectations is a little too high for a weekly show. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would give One Piece a 10 out of 10 for me personally. A lot of you guys are going to say that it's like a 4. You guys are going to get mad and be like, Neon Genesis Evangelion is better, blah, 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 blah. And I've heard people do that, and I'm just like, no, because let me tell you another reason why One Piece is good. One Piece basically does everything you can possibly do in an anime. There's literally pretty much everything you can think of. One Piece has done. That's making me think of Gintama. Let me put that down on here too, because I want to talk about Gintama. Hold on, Gintama. Because there's a thing. The reason why people think that Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, the big three are so amazing is because they pretty much do everything you possibly can in anime. They put everything possible in the show. Does that make sense? Meaning it's like every story beat you can think of has probably been done in Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach, and Gintama. Like every type of story arc, every type of character you can think of, every type of character cliche, anime cliche, character style. When it comes to like dudes who use swords, all these shows have that. Dudes who are edgy, all these shows have that. Goofy characters, these shows have that. You get what I'm saying? Unique characters, all four of these shows have that. This is what it is. But I've been talking about One Piece for a long time. But me personally, I think One Piece is a 10 out of 10. Let's see, what else? Welcome to the NHK is a -5. That show is dog shit. And let me tell you why. I hate Welcome to the NHK because it has a main character who's a whiny dude. I already hate it because of that. He's a whiny dude who talks about conspiracies. He's a whiny dude who watches too much porn. He's a whiny dude who's kind of a pedophile because he does some pedophile shit in the show. There's this girl too, and I always hate, like I said before, I hate shows where the guy is kind of a bitch, and then the girl is like above him low key, and she's like trying to like bring him up and make him not be a loser. I hate those type of shows, um, which is the same problem that I kind of have with Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's a little different though, because in Neon Genesis Evangelion, the girl is just a straight up bully, like she's just an asshole. In this one, it's like a girl who's a narcissist and she's like, I can help you with your creepiness and blah blah blah. That already irritates me. But the main character is just dog shit. He's trash. I hate him as a character. He's whiny. He's a pedophile. He's a crybaby. He's obsessed with porn too much. He's a loser. Um, and the girl, I'm pretty sure, is like 17, I think, and he's supposed to be like 22. That annoys me that a lot of anime shows do that, to be honest. It's really annoying. Why does the girl got to be 17? Why can't she just be like 20? I don't understand why they need to be 16 or 17. I don't really understand why anime does that. Ooh, another anime I just remembered, Garden of Words. That's a good one. Oh my gosh, bro. Garden of Words. I really like that one. Yeah, Welcome to the NHK is boo boo. It is. I mean, I've seen dudes say it's good. That shit is dog water. I ain't gonna lie, it's hot dog water. Let me see what else we got. Now this one is raunchy, but this one is funny as shit. Prison School was funny. I remember watching that in college one morning. I think it was like 9 a.m. I got out of class and I watched literally all of it. That shit was funny as hell. 10 out of 10 for comedy. It was so freaking funny. And then when they would say English words, they're like, fuck. I was like, bro, I'm hella dead, bro. But basically, it's like these three dudes in freaking prison. I think it was because they went to an all-girls school and they weren't allowed to. It's been years since I've watched it, but that shit, I remember it being funny as hell. 10 out of 10. I can't remember a lot of it. I'll have to go back and rewatch it if I ever do like a video analysis on it. But it was funny as hell. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Just purely on, like I said, on entertainment, it was a 10 out of 10. Let me see what else we got. Hunter x Hunter 1999, 15 out of 10. I am a Hunter x Hunter fan. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. One of my favorite mangas of all time. I actually have some of the mangas behind me. That's how much I freaking love Hunter x Hunter. The 1999 one had a lot of filler in it, and I actually love that filler because I feel like as Hunter x Hunter fans, we don't get enough Hunter x Hunter. I was really excited when Hunter x Hunter came back like a few months ago. I think it was like 6 or 7 months ago it came back. I was super freaking hyped because it had been like, what, like 3-4 years? So we got some chapters. Everything about Hunter x Hunter is amazing to me personally. It has everything I like. First of all, the main character looks very unique. I'm pretty sure that Gon was inspired by Astro Boy and Kid Goku, mostly because, for one, he likes to go fishing, but this is why he's similar to Goku. Goku, back in Dragon Ball, he goes and he gets a giant fish to eat. Gon literally catches a giant fish. I'm like, that's so obvious that that's an inspiration. And he just looks like Astro Boy. So I'm just assuming they got that Yashiro Tagashi got the inspiration from that. Um, but yeah, Gon, he does that. He lives with Mito. He meets a guy named Kite. If you read the manga, and in the 1999 anime, he meets Kite. Kite is actually like a freaking. He's a student of Gon's dad because he saves Gon from I think it's like some kind of hybrid of like a bear and I think it's like a koala bear or something. It's like a hybrid bear thing. You know how they do that in anime? They like mix animals. But basically, um, he saves him, and then Kite talks to him for a little bit. Kite's mad that he had to kill the animal, but Gon saved like the cub or whatever, and then the cub actually grows up and gets big, and it's like best friends with the Gon. They're like homies and shit. I might put that in my own story, bro. I already got an inspiration. I got like Icarus. From the Dragon Ball Z movies and Dragon Ball filler, I'm like one of my main characters has his own little dragon too, so I might do that for my novel. But yeah, freaking so Gon, when he gets a little bit older, he tells his Aunt Mito, like, I'm gonna be a hunter because he knows his dad is a hunter and he wants to be like his dad. He wants to find his dad. And I really like him because you can tell the inspiration also comes from the fact that he's really in tune with nature. And Kid Goku is very in tune with nature. And Gon is very good when it comes to his senses. He's good at smelling things, he's good at understanding animals, he's very good at hearing things. He's very intelligent when it comes to nature. And the anime show really shows you that, and so does the manga. And in the anime show, there's like filler because it shows us characters earlier than we should be seeing them. We see Karapika earlier. He's like sitting at a restaurant, and he actually like freaking stabs a spider. And if I remember correctly, his eyes turn red. It's been a while since I've seen the show. Um, and we see Leorio a lot earlier. And if I remember correctly, they miss the ship, and then they literally jump on the ship. If I remember correctly, in the manga, that doesn't happen. They're already on the ship when Gon gets on the ship. I could be wrong. Y'all can correct me if you want to. Like I said, it's been a while since I read it. I'm gonna go back and read that. But basically, freaking Karapika and Leorio, they have like this fight. They're like fighting each other, and they end up learning that literally, they're once you get on that boat, one of the examiners is literally the captain of the boat, and they have this fight, and Gon finds out that there's a storm that's coming because he can like smell it and whatnot because he's so in tune with nature. He can tell there's a storm. A storm happens. A guy almost falls off the ship. Freaking Leorio and Karapika, they both catch Gon because Gon literally his crazy ass jumps off the ship to save the guy that fell off the ship, and they both caught him. And then afterwards, they stop arguing with each other because they're like, "You're crazy. Why would you try to jump off the ship?" And he's like, "Well, you." Gon's like, "Well, you guys caught me." And then they both apologize. They're like, "I'm sorry, Leorio. I'm sorry, Karapika. Whatever, whatever." And basically, they go on this really big adventure to actually find the hunter exams to become a hunter. And a hunter is kind of vague, but basically it's like you hunt the things you want. So you have like chef hunters. They go hunt rare food, rare like berries with rare wines and drinks, rare animals to cook, stuff of that nature. You have like an archaeologist, hunter. You'll have like a beast hunter, a dog hunter, animal hunter, like stuff like that. And it's basically like you just go hunt what you like, pretty much. Um, I remember somebody also saying that Gon becomes a hunter and he's hunting his dad, and that's why it's called Hunter x Hunter. That's kind of cold. I don't know if that's intentional, if Yashiro Tagashi really was doing that intentionally, but that's badass. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, and basically, I love it because it's literally an adventure to get to the hunter exams. Um, and there's actually like more filler in the story where it's like Leorio gets on a bus and he's just riding around for a long time because the bus actually doesn't take you to the hunter exams. It just keeps riding you around because they want you to miss the hunter exams. It's a filler in the 1999. But in the 2011, Leorio hears from these guys that are close by that the bus doesn't take you to the exam. And then in the manga, same thing as the 2011 one, if I and then basically it's Karapika and Gon. They're walking like far. They're like walking to this tree and they're walking to the exams. And Leorio was like, I'm gonna catch the bus to the exams. Basically, that's what happened. They split up and he's like, never mind. He ends up going after them anyway. And then there's this like really, really shady dude. I can't remember his name, but he's hella shady. He has on like karate style clothes, like karate kid style clothes, like the robe and everything. And basically Gon carries this guy, and there's like this. They go to this little area, and there's all these like little buildings, and then there's this old lady, and basically, she asks them like this impossible question, and the one guy with the robes, he answers it, and then he just goes straight, and then all three of them, Leorio, Karapika, and Gon, sit there and they try to figure out the question, and then they end up figuring it out. But Leorio gets mad, is about to beat up the old lady, and then Karapika's like, "We won, we figured it out." And then basically they open up. The old lady opens up this little area to the right, and it's like a little. Basically, it's the right, it's the correct way to go to get the exams. Apparently, the guy in the robe went straight and got like killed and eaten by bears and alligators and shit, which I thought was freaking hilarious. And they go through this little hole, and then they got to walk for like, I think it was, they have to walk for 4 hours. It was either 2 hours or 4 hours, I can't remember, but they got to walk a really long time, and then they're in like this swamp. And again, this is why I kind of low key like the 1999 one. I like how it adds shit in it. But they're like walking in the swamp, and then they find a boat, and they do all this extra shit, and then they fight these beasts that know how to shapeshift, and then they end up finding out which beast is who, because Gon can figure it out, because Gon is so in tune with nature. He can actually tell the difference between the two different animals that shapeshift, and then one of the animals actually takes them to the hunter exams, which is actually inside of this small little restaurant. And then they go through this little, they ask for this specific type of order, they go through this door, they sit at this table, it goes downwards, and when it goes downwards like an elevator, we see all the freaking hunters, all the people that want to be hunters. We see Hisoka, which is like the scary kind of pedophile type clown type magician type of dude. We meet Kilua, who's like this little cute little dude who uses a skateboard. His family's assassins. We meet freaking Tampa, who's a guy who's literally taken the exam multiple times, because every time there's a newcomer, he tries to fuck them up to where they can't get far in the exam, and he tries to make them drop out. And then there's a little weird looking little dude with a computer. He ends up dropping out, and the first test is basically them running a really long distance, and it's a psychological test because they don't know how long the distance is that they're gonna run. After that shit happens, they go up the freaking stairs, and there's a little filler in there in the 1999 one where basically Leorio gets tired, and they all go back, and there's like this weird area where basically it makes you like hallucinate, and we actually see Leorio's friend who died, and Leorio actually wants to become a doctor to heal his sick friends. And it's like this little filler of like his friend being like a skeleton and shit. It's kind of scary, but I like it. It's very haunting. It's a really good filler. And then Kilua has these bombs, and he throws them and breaks the wall, and then he finds everybody and he brings them back, and they run back to catch up to the other people, which I thought was really random. I'm like, how do they catch back up? Like, nigga, that shit was like 20 minutes of them standing there. So that was kind of wild how they caught back up. But I like that little filler in the 1999 one. And then the voice of Kilua is also the voice of Damien from Batman versus Robin, I believe. I believe they have the same voice. It sounds really similar. Um, but I really like that. As you can see, I'm a big fan of Hunter x Hunter. But again, it's because of the adventure aspect. I really like the fact that they go on this adventure just to get to the exams, and then the hunter exams is also an adventure because we don't really know what's going to happen. I love how unpredictable the show is. You can't really predict what's going to happen, which is what makes it fun. Because a lot of people, a lot of older adults, a lot of us adults, we can kind of predict what's going to happen, like in movies and TV shows. So I love shows where you can't really predict what's going to happen, which is why I give Hunter x Hunter like a 15 out of 10. um has some of the most iconic characters. The freaking Phantom troop is freaking iconic. They all look so freaking badass. Um, or the spiders, you can call them whatever you want. Kilua's parents, the Zoldycks. I mean, Kilua's family, the Zoldycks are badass. I freaking love the Zoldycks. As we find out that Kilua, the kid, is an assassin. And there's also another filler where basically there's this girl on the blimp, and she tries to kill Kilua because one of Kilua's family members killed her family member. It's a filler. It's not in the freaking 2011 one or the manga, but it was some really good filler that I really liked. I thought it was canon for a cool minute. There's also a canon part where they go to an extra island in Hunter x Hunter 1999, and the island is basically like they live in like these hotels with each other and live in rooms with each other, and they like hunt for gold and stuff. It's really random. It's really random filler, but I do like it. And there's like a part where they get on the boat and there's like this big old storm and everything. It's filler, but it's a good filler to me. I think Hunter x Hunter has really good filler because it doesn't feel like they're adding on to the story. and just doing dumb shit. It feels like it goes with the story, which is really good. That means it's good filler. Um, yeah, but I remember watching that one, and I remember watching all of it, even the OVAs at the end for Greed Island, and then I remember switching over to the 2011 one because I wanted to see the Ant arc, but I wanted to watch the whole anime up into that point to see, see the differences or whatever. And the 2011 one is super fast paced compared to that one. And then there's also the what's it called? I was about to say something. The two movies of Hunter x Hunter aren't that good. There's the one where it's like the puppet Phantom Troop member. He like uses puppets, and his sister is like a little puppet girl, and he's kind of like obsessed with her. It's kind of cringe. And then Killua is like bullies her all the time. I'm just like, why is Killua being an asshole? I don't get it. But Killua does it. Killua is a misogynist. He don't really like women. He can't stand them. He thinks they dumb. He's like super sassy. It's funny though because women love him though and think he's adorable. Um, what's it called? And then the other movie was like, I like a small part of that movie where it's like Netero. We see younger Netero. I think he's like in his 50s in the beginning, and he's fighting like this other guy. And basically, it's like we go to the what's the tower called that they fight in all the time? Oh my, well not all the time, but there's an arc where they fight in it. Oh my gosh, bro, I can't remember the tower name. What the hell? I'm a horrible fan, bro. That's one of my favorite anime of all time. I can't remember the name. Basically, they fight in like this white tower, and you fight different people, and every person you beat, you get money. And Killua was actually sent there as a child. His family sent him there. Um, Heaven's Arena, I think is what it was called. Heaven's Arena. Um, and what else? What else? What else? What else? I'm trying to remember, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. But basically, there's a movie in Heaven's Arena, and it was just like a really boring movie. It was kind of just, it was just boring. I feel like they could have made way better Hunter x Hunter movies. Why don't they make some canon Hunter x Hunter movies? I don't get it. Like we have so much of the like the new chapters. We have enough of the new chapters to make a movie, or at least make like a 20 episode, little series or whatever. Just like how they're doing with Thousand Year Blood War in Bleach. But I've talked enough about Hunter x Hunter. Okay, it's my favorite anime, so I talk about it all the time. I That was just a rough draft, a rough summary. Like I don't have no script or nothing. But 15 out of 10 is my favorite. I already told y'all why. Both anime adaptations are really pretty looking. The first one, the 1999 one, literally looks like a movie. And then the 2011 one literally looks like a movie. Like the animation for it, 10 out of 10. The fights are strategic. I love shows with strategic fights. It's a psychological anime, even though it's a shonen. It's kind of a deconstruction of shonen, but it's still a shonen. People try to make it seem like it's a deconstruction of shonen. It's not a shonen, but it's still a shonen anime. Um, but I think it's one of the best ones, and it's very unique, kind of like how JoJo's is very unique. And some of JoJo's is a shonen, and some of it is a seinen, however you say it. Um, but it's really good. Hunter x Hunter is amazing. 10 out of 10. Oh, I'm gonna do JoJo's too, y'all. I'm gonna do JoJo's. I forgot about JoJo's. So I've watched pretty much all of that. What else we have? My Hero. I watched My Hero when I was in college. My school got closed down because it was snowing, and it was closed down for I think for like a week, and I watched My Hero in like a day because at the time it was only 2 seasons, and I think it was like really like a 8 out of 10 to be honest. I was really entertained by it. The third season's really good. I really like your boy Yamillion. Is that his name? Yamillion? I think that's his name. I really like him. The one that is kind of like Obito from Naruto Shippuden, where like if you try to hit him, your hits go through him. I really like him. Yeah, Lemillion. Lemillion. I really like him a lot. I really liked Stain, the freaking hero hunter or whatever. He was cool. Um, my favorite character probably Toga, and then Todoroki. I like Todoroki. Um, I would give My Hero like all together. I'd give it probably like an 8, 7.5, 8. It's pretty good. Um, I like the what is it the um the Deku versus Muscular fight. I would give like I would, that fight was really cool, and I would say that My Hero gets me because it has like the most inspirational speeches. That shit gives me like goosebumps and be having me hyped as hell. It's really good at hyping you up. I would give it a freaking 8 out of. When it comes to just hype and just inspiration, I give it a 10 out of 10 for that. And the animation looks pretty good. It's been pretty solid. I'll give it like a 9. I do feel like I want more choreography from the fights, though. I feel like they're too simple sometimes, but that doesn't necessarily make them bad because they're not bad fights. The choreography for them looks good. It's just really simple. Like when they kept showing Deku kind of just throwing Bakugo, I'm like, can this nigga do something else besides the same thing over and over again? And honestly, sometimes watching some of the earlier episodes can be kind of painful just because he was using what is it, all for one. I always get one for all and all for one mixed up, but it's all for one. And he's like using the little flicks. He's like flicking his fingers, and his fingers kept breaking. Like that shit was just brutal. I was like, God damn, this is brutal. So I probably won't rewatch it just because of those brutal little scenes. I ain't gonna lie, it was just really brutal. But I say that and I might end up going back and watching it. Like sometimes I just be talking, but I would give it. I'll give it 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. What else do we have? Death Note. Death Note. I literally when I like how I just said I watched My Hero in a day. I watched Death Note like right after that. And I watched it in like a day. I would give Death Note a 9 out of 10. I was feeling that shit when I was watching. I was really feeling it. I think L and Light are really iconic. Um, it does kind of slightly go downhill though when L dies. It does slightly go downhill because I'm like, if he won, so the show should have been over basically right there. But the extra stuff after wasn't that bad. Like everybody like clowns it and says it's really bad. It's not that bad. I will give it like if we doing the whole thing, I would give the anime still. I would give about an 8.5, about a 9. I was still really entertained. Um, so yeah, I mean, if it's an anime where I watched all of it, didn't get bored, didn't fall asleep, was interested the whole time I was watching it, and I really love the twists and turns of it, it's good because Death Note has good character designs, it has an extremely good story. You know, the freaking dub is good and the sub is good in my personal opinion, and it stays interesting the whole time. I would give about 8.5, 9 out of 10. I ain't gonna lie. It's good. I don't think Death Note is overrated at all. I think it actually is really good. Um, what else we got? The Dragon Ball franchise. Now, this is going to be wild because I have a different opinion on all of them. GT, Super, Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball Z. You would think I would love all of them because I was obsessed with Dragon Ball Z as a kid, right? Um, but I have a different opinion for all of them. So let's get to that shit. Me personally, my favorite version of Dragon Ball is Dragon Ball Z. I personally think Dragon Ball Z is the best story out of all of them, the most entertaining out of all of them, has the best fight choreography out of all of them, has the best hype moments out of all of them, and is the most brutal as well. Because people forget how brutal that Namek Vegeta was. This nigga was killing everything in sight. This nigga was freaking blowing motherfuckers up. Just bro. Vegeta was a villain. Especially when he was doing them scary faces, he grabbed Gohan, kind of rubbed his head, and then punched us. Well, no, I think he kicked the shit out of him in the stomach. I was like, damn, this nigga going crazy. I love that Vegeta. That's my favorite Vegeta. When Vegeta was a menace, I love that Vegeta, bro. There's so many iconic fights in that freaking show, but there's so many iconic scenes to me. When Vegeta was just going around killing everybody on Namek, when he killed, what was it? Was it Kui or Pui? I think it was Kui. He kills that. He killed him. That was clean. When he killed Dodoria, that was clean. When he killed was it Raccoon, that was clean. When he killed Jace, that was clean. This nigga was going crazy. I was like, bro, this nigga is this shit. That was when I really liked him. And I remember as a kid, I had watched Dragon Ball Z Kai and Dragon Ball Z, and I remember uh, really wanting Vegeta to wish for himself to be immortal so he can fight Frieza as a kid. I wanted that to happen so bad. I had like in my head, I was just picturing him fighting Frieza and being immortal and them fighting for years. Because I remember Vegeta saying something in Dragon Ball Z Kai. He's like, I'll get immortal. And he's like, I'll tear you down or something. He's like, eventually I'll make you tired. I feel like that would have been clean if that really would have happened. If we would have got Vegeta versus Frieza and it would have been him being immortal, I feel like that shit would have been fire. I always just wish we could have seen that as a kid. I ain't gonna lie. Even if Frieza whoops his ass for a minute. It just would have been cool to see. Um, but Dragon Ball Z is so iconic, bro. The freaking Piccolo and Goku versing freaking Raditz was fire. I love how his English voice is literally Yusuke, my nigga. It's Yusuke. That's amazing. It's Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho, and I freaking love Yu Yu Hakusho. That fight was iconic. I love Snake Way for some reason. I love seeing Snake Way. When it comes to freaking character development, Vegeta has some of the best in any anime. He literally goes from like a literally a cold-blooded killer to literally being a family man who's just a little who has anger issues. Um, but I really love that. I love the Frieza versus Goku fight will always be iconic. But I also like the little fight where it was literally Kid Gohan, Krillin, and Piccolo fighting uh Frieza's real form. That shit blew my mind. Like that little fight they did was pretty clean. And I love the little one that Vegeta did, even though Vegeta was getting his shit mollywopped. I ain't gonna lie to you. That nigga was doing the nay and shit. But that fight was still fire. Um, what else, bro? I really love when Goku was fighting the Ginyu Force. That was clean. I love the little when Captain Ginyu switched bodies with Goku. That was fire. Um, what else? What else? I love the Buu arc to death because that was one of the. I actually, when I was a kid, I was like 13. I had like $30, and I bought the orange bricks that everybody hates. I bought the second half of the Buu saga. I have that in the garage, or it might be in there somewhere. It might be in the garage, but the Boo Saga, bro. I literally have that on DVD. The second half, where it's literally Mr. Satan and Fat Boo living in a little house, and they have the little dog. It starts off right there. That's the first episode. Um, that's the first episode on the Yellow Bricks. I'm not saying that's the first episode of the Boo Saga because I know how you guys like to correct niggas all the time, even though it don't be that serious. Like y'all know what I mean. Um, but yeah, I remember that, and then when his Fat Boo gets so angry because of the freaking bounty hunter dude shoots the dog and shoots Mr. Satan, and he shoots out, I call him Gray Boo. He shoots out Gray Boo, and then him and Gray Boo fight. I believe his real name is Bad Boo, but he fights Fat Boo fights Gray Boo because Gray Boo is the manifestation of all of Boo's anger, and then freaking Fat Boo shoots a freaking the candy beam at him, and then Gray Boo blows it away and shoots Fat Boo with it, and then eats the freaking chocolate. Fat Boo, he eats him, and then he turns into Evil Boo. I just love all them Boo forms. I was like, why the fuck is there so many Boo forms? But I like that shit. But what's my favorite scenes of the Boo Saga? Pretty much everything in the Boo Saga I like. Everything. The whole thing is entertaining. I really love when Goku and Vegeta are inside of Boo's body. That shit was the most entertaining stuff. It's like if you sit there and you analyze Dragon Ball Z, you could say that like some of the writing is bad, but bro, when it comes to entertainment level, the Boo Saga is so freaking entertaining. Bro, I'm like entertained. I've rewatched it like 1,000 times and it's still freaking fun to watch. And everything Vegeta says is freaking hilarious. Like, goddamn, like when they're inside of Boo's body, it's so funny. The freaking Vegito fight, iconic. Super Vegito, iconic. Nigga, Mr. Gohan, even though he gets his ass whooped, iconic. Goku Super Saiyan 3 trying to get Gohan to put that damn earring on, and he was fighting Boo, iconic. Gotenks turning Super Saiyan 3, iconic. Nigga, the Gotenks and freaking Piccolo being in the Helped by the Tom Chamber fighting Boo, iconic. Bro, like the whole Boo saga, I like. Goku versus turning Super Saiyan 3, iconic. That shit was like 3 episodes, still iconic. I don't care. Um, what else? When they first turned to Gotenks and got they freaking shit rocked when they were fighting Fat Boo, iconic. But I don't care. That shit was iconic, bro. I don't care. It is what it is. That whole arc was fire to me. And I've rewatched it so many times. And I really love the ending of Z when it shows Trunks and Goten older. They're like teenagers. And Bulma gets older, and then they go and do the tournament again, and then we see Oob and Goku fights Oob and shit. I love that little bit right there. What did he say? What Goten said? He said, "Look at the jaw, Trunks," because Trunks got the like super gay like dude. He's like, "Oh my god, that mess is funny." That pan is adorable. I love that pan. I love the one from Dragon Ball, from Dragon Superhero 2. That pan is actually adorable too. No creeper shit, but she's adorable. Um, But I love everything about Dragon Ball Z, bro. Like literally everything. Um, freaking what was it? Majin Vegeta versus Super Saiyan 2. Majin Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta versus Super Saiyan 2 Goku was fire. Um, I love Gohan versus Deborah, even though it kind of like was cut short. Um, I like how there's like this debate where it's like, was he Super Saiyan 2 or was he just Super Saiyan? Like everybody has this debate for some reason. I'm pretty sure he was just Super Saiyan. Um, but there's people who are like, no, he's Super Saiyan 2, whatever. Um, and if we're just talking about overall Dragon Ball, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan versus Cell is amazing. Um, what else? What else? Android 17 versus Piccolo is like one of my top favorite fights. Um, and Cell versus Gohan, like I said earlier, is one of my top favorite fights. And then Imperfect Cell versus Krillin when Krillin was running away. Apparently that's filler, but him running away to try to save the lady and the kid, I don't care. That was fire. Krillin is such a good character. I don't care what nobody says. People can call him weak. He stood up to Perfect Cell and punched him hella times. He stood up to Imperfect Cell, even though he couldn't fight him and ran away from him, but he still was fighting him though, regardless. He freaking stood up against Kid Buu, even if that was filler. I don't care. All that filler counts to me. I don't give a shit. He still stood up for himself. He fought freaking Frieza. There's people who say he's a coward. How is Krillin a coward? He's fought like almost all the strongest dudes, bro. Krillin is not a coward. Krillin is the shit. He just gets scared. Wouldn't you be scared fighting these scary ass alien motherfuckers? Fighting niggas from different planets and shit, and fighting mutated bugs and shit. Wouldn't you be terrified? Krillin is a W character. I don't care. And he knows he's gonna get beat up, and he still tries to fight. 10 out of 10 character. I don't care, bro. Krillin's amazing. Vegeta's a 10 out of 10 character. Dragon Ball Z Goku is a 10 out of 10 character. That's the one I personally like. All right, now I've talked about Dragon Ball Z enough. Y'all can kind of see that's like my favorite. Let me talk about Dragon Ball. Okay, so I don't like Dragon Ball as much as Dragon Ball Z. I know that's freaking wild. I know that's blowing niggas' minds. Dragon Ball was too pervy for me. I got tired of seeing Goku's dick all the time. That got annoying as hell, bro. I read the manga when I was like 15 in high school and I liked it. I watched Dragon Ball, but over time, when I try to go back and watch it, I get tired of the balls jokes, the dick jokes, the pervy jokes, and the show is kind of wilding a little too much, and the show is kind of low key pedophilish, like it kind of is. Especially when it's like they keep doing all the pervert shit with Boma or whatever. And I'm just like, all right, bro, goddamn. I honestly, as iconic as Dragon Ball is, I would give Dragon Ball like a 7 out of 10, maybe even a 6, maybe even a 5 for me personally, because I get tired of that stuff. Now, if we cut out all that stuff, all right, and if we cut out all the pervy stuff out of Dragon Ball, if they remastered it, took out all the dick jokes, all the ball jokes, all the perverted uh teenage Boma jokes, pervy pedo jokes and all shit, took all that out, Dragon Ball would be a 10 out of 10 to me, would be one of the best shows ever. Because it has a lot of good shit in it, but it has a lot of bad shit in it too. It has some shit that's just too raunchy in it. Too many pedophile jokes, too many. And I really don't like pedophile jokes. Y'all already, but I told you about Welcome to the NHK earlier. I don't really like that shit a lot, like at all. It actually really annoys me when people do pedophile jokes. It's irritating. Um, and but I will say the highlights of this. Let me tell you the stuff I like about the original Dragon Ball. I think Kid Goku is adorable, but I don't like the fact that he touches everybody's privates. That shit is not funny to me. I know you guys think it's hella funny. I don't really think it's that funny. I ain't gonna lie to you. After like third time, it's like, okay, bro, like you're doing too much. Like, and he's supposed to be pure hearted, and I guess that's the whole point of the joke is he's pure hearted, so he doesn't know what he's doing. But it's just weird. It's just kind of creepy. It's not really funny. But let me tell you stuff I like. I think Kid Goku is adorable. I like the fight with him versus King Piccolo. That shit was fire. I like everything about King Piccolo. I like how King Piccolo literally kills Shenron. That's fire. I like how when he dies, he shoots out Piccolo Jr. That's clean. I love the little tambourine and all the like mutated Namekians, because that's what they are. They're literally just mutant Namekians. Um, they were fire. I really liked them. I love anything with the tournaments. I love anything with the tournaments. The tournaments were fire. The Goku versus Tien fight was fire. Um, The anything with Yamcha when he was fighting was fire. I love all the fights. I love when we see Master Roshi turn big, and use the Kamehameha. That's always fire. I love the Piccolo Junior versus Goku fight. That was fire. And apparently he was only like 3 years old or five. Some people have said he's three. Some people say it's five. There's that debate, just like Teen Gohan, how some people say that Teen Gohan was nine, and some people say that Teen Gohan was 11. But then some people say he's 13. And then there's people who are like, nah, he was 11, so technically he's not a teen. He's pre-teen Gohan. I'm like, bro, does it matter? That's the one thing I don't really like Dragon Ball Z fans because they get on my nerves. But yeah, but you can see I'm a Dragon Ball dude. But yeah, when I was a teenager though, Dragon Ball, I was like obsessed with all of it. GT, all of it. What else do I like about Dragon Ball? I like how it's an adventure anime. It's like one of the very first ones that it's inspired. Literally, pretty much every shonen after it, it's inspired. It inspired the freaking whole teenage kid fighting, gets a super form thing. Like every show does that afterwards. Pretty much every mangaka has been inspired by that. Bleach, One Piece, Naruto, all inspired by Dragon Ball. Even though Bleach is inspired more by Yu Yu Hakusho, and One Piece is inspired by Dragon Ball, and Naruto is inspired by Hunter x Hunter. Like mostly, if you like pay attention to like the early parts of it. Um, but yeah, Dragon Ball was just a little too raunchy for my taste. Even though I did watch it, and I did read the manga, and I did enjoy it as a kid. Going back to it, I'm like, nah, I don't really like the raunchy shit. But there's a lot of scenes I like in it though. Like I like when Goku is climbing the tower to get to Korn's tower. I mean, not Korn, to get to Kami's lookout or whatever. And then he sees that Kami looks like Piccolo, and he's like, what the hell? I like the part where Goku gets trained by Mr. Popo. I really love that. I really like Mr. Popo, and they actually used him as a character. Um, I like the movies. The movies are good. The Dragon Ball movies. Um, like I said, there's a lot I like in there. I like Android 8. He's adorable. Um, yeah, there's a lot I like in there, but as a whole, I give it like a 7 out of 10. If they took all the raunchy stuff out, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. That's how I feel. Um, but I don't think it's trash or anything. I just think it's raunchy. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but yeah, definitely iconic. But it is what it is. Dragon Ball GT. Dragon Ball GT. You could tell that it was trying to mix Dragon Ball with Dragon Ball Z, and Super does the same thing. I remember liking GT a lot when you get to like the Shadow Dragon arc, where we see Goku Super Saiyan 4 fighting all the Shadow Dragons. And I remember having this Dragon Ball GT video game that I think I found it literally on the ground. I used to find Game Boy games on the ground. I remember finding like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Shuffle game on the ground. It was like a dice throwing game. I remember finding that on the ground. Somebody probably threw it away because it was boring, because it was boring. But that still was mind blowing to find a Yu Gi Oh game on the floor. But I'm pretty sure the GT one I found on the floor too, or like a friend gave it to me or something. But I remember really liking that, and that game was about the baby arc. The baby arc and the Shadow Dragon arc are really good. I think those are some of like Dragon Ball's top arcs, to keep it real. But the Shadow Dragon arc is just iconic. I mean, Gogeta Super Saiyan 4, freaking Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and freaking Goku. Come on, bro. That shit was fire. And Omega was a really cool villain. Um, and the baby arc was cool. I love Baby Vegeta. Um, that arc was really good. I like the truffles. I like finding out more about the truffles and the Saiyans. That was really cool. The Super 17 arc was I feel like people bash it, but it wasn't that bad. It was like a 6 out of 10. It ain't that bad. I feel like people be going a little too hard on GT, to be honest. A lot of people think the part where they go into space to find the Dragon Balls is boring. I personally found that interesting, but again, I'm one of those type of people who likes when characters go to different locations. So them going to different planets was fun for me personally. But a lot of people actually don't like it. I don't like Pan. I think she's freaking annoying as hell. I like End of Z Pan, and I like Dragon Superhero Pan, but I do not like GT Pan. She's too whiny, too annoying, tries to tell Goku what to do. And like I said, I don't really like when anime will have like a narcissistic female who bullies dudes all the time. That really annoys me when they do that in anime. It's really irritating. I don't know why they think it's cute. It's not cute. It's just annoying as hell. That's just me. Um, And I feel like they made Trunks. I don't want to say he was like a wuss or nothing, but they made him kind of a wuss. But again, he's different than Future Trunks. They're two different characters, and they're not the same dude. But they made him kind of wussy. But then they made Future Trunks kind of a crybaby and Super. They literally like changed this boy into an entirely different character. Like there's like three different Trunks, four different Trunks. Because if you count the movie Trunks that got the sword from Tapion, what's his name? Tapion? I think it was Tapion. Um, but yeah, what was I about to say? Yeah, Pan kind of ruined GT. I don't really have the same complaint that other people have though, where it's like, oh, Goku got turned into a kid, so it ruins the show. It would have been funner if he would have stayed as an adult, but it's not like a deal breaker for me. Highlights of GT, I would say, is the when freaking GT Goku goes to hell and fights Cell and Frieza in hell. That's one of my personal favorite scenes and episodes in Dragon Ball GT. And then of course Gogeta fighting Omega Shenron was fire. And then Super Saiyan 4 Goku fighting Baby Vegeta was fire. Um, what else? There's a there's this one dude that Goku fights in space, but I can't remember his name. He's blue. I knew his name, but I can't remember it. The hell is his name, bro? I, damn. Goku fought somebody in space where he went Super Saiyan. But I really liked the little fight they had. There's like some good fight choreography in there. Um, I like Majub, but I feel like they should have did more with Majub. I mean, once he fused with Fat Boo, they could have did way more with that. There's actually some fan mangas that are like way better and fan animations on YouTube that y'all can check out about shit like that. But I feel like they could have did that way better. But GT as a whole, I would give like a 6 or a 7. It's not as bad as people think it is. If you just watch it, just go back and just watch the Baby arc and the Shadow Dragon arc, I feel like you would like it. Just pretend like everything before that don't matter and never existed, and it's not canon anyway. It's non-canon or whatever. Um, but yeah, I give like 6 or a 7. I'll give it a 10 if it's just the Baby arc and just the Shadow Dragon arc. It's a 10. Even though, like I said, I do like the little part where they go to space. I'll give that part like a 6 or a 7. It's something fun to turn on in the background. And the Super 17 is like a 6 out of 10. Um, but as a whole show, I'd probably give it like a 7.5, kind of balance it out. Um, but it's not as bad as people think it is. I feel like people like oversell how horrible GT is. It is really not that bad of a show. And people have a small amount of complaints, such as just like, oh, well, Goku got turned into a kid. I always hear that one. Super. I was one of those people that for some reason really liked Dragon Ball Super when it first came out. And I don't think Dragon Ball Super is trash, but let me tell you what I think it is. I think it's a comfort show. I think it's a comfort food, basically. It's like a comfort food, where basically it's something that you're comfortable watching and it's very safe as a show. It doesn't try anything different. You can tell that the show is trying to be very safe and it's trying really hard to be very wholesome and chill. That's something I've noticed about the show. And you can tell that just like Dragon Ball GT, it's trying to be like Dragon Ball Z and it's trying to be like Dragon Ball, like both mixed into one. I'm gonna keep it real. I do not like Goku in Dragon Ball Super. I get so annoyed by him because he acts like he's freaking dumb, and it annoys me. It's like because I know he's 40 to 50 years old, so it's like him acting like how he used to act in Dragon Ball just annoys me. And you can tell that he's clearly an entirely different Goku. The one from Z was way different, and there's people that say that there's the American version trying to make him like an American version of Superman. The sub, he was still intelligent in the sub as well, bro. I watched the sub. He still was smart on the sub too. He's an entirely different character, bro. Z Goku, GT Goku, Super Goku, and Dragon Ball Goku are all different. Dragon Ball GT Goku is actually lovable because he's extremely mature, even though he looks like a little kid. He feels more mature. And Dragon Ball Z Goku also feels very mature. Dragon Ball Super Goku feels like an annoying little kid, and it like pisses me off sometimes, and it makes me not like Goku because he just acts annoying as hell. And there are people who said, well, Teriyama always wanted him to act like that. I don't care, bro. Z Goku and GT Goku are actually lovable. I actually like both of them as characters. Like I love them. I see them and I'm like, oh, those are my niggas. I see Super Goku, I get irritated because he does dumb shit and it like annoys me. Um, but power scaling, I always felt like the power scaling shit didn't matter that much, but then I started noticing it a little too much when characters were like jumping up levels. And I'm like, how is this character like? There are people who say Kaba Super Saiyan 2 is way stronger than Gohan Super Saiyan 2, right? But if we're going by the choreography, if we're going by how they fought their opponent, Gohan looks like he's way stronger than Kaba Super Saiyan 2, in my personal opinion. He looks stronger. Technically, though, yes, Kaba is stronger because they say that his base is the same level as Vegeta's base. So his Super Saiyan 2 is basically like Super Saiyan God level, pretty much. Which I kind of, it just feels like a cop out, bro. It just, he still shouldn't be able to compete. You know what I'm saying? But that annoying. The power scaling in Dragon Ball Super is just trash. Like it's just there is no power scaling. Like what the fuck? You watch the anime and the manga are so different. It's weird. It's like why did y'all make the manga and the anime completely different? I don't really understand that. Um, like it still goes to the same story beats, but it feels like a different story. Like when you watch the Goku Black arc in the manga, I mean when you read it, it's an entirely different story than the one that is in the anime. Like Vegeta goes Super Saiyan Red. Um, that's what I call it. Y'all can complain about it. I'm just gonna call it Super Saiyan Red. It's just easy to remember. Instead of having to say Super Saiyan God, the Super Saiyan Red. He uses that in the manga, and he switches from Super Saiyan Blue to Super Saiyan Red in the manga. There's just a lot more fun shit in the Goku Black arc in the manga that's better in the manga than in the anime. I do think the Goku Black arc is still decent though. I would still give it like a 7 out of 10 because it's still enjoyable. Super is enjoyable to watch, but I do agree with people that the choreography is really bad. Like there's one scene where it's literally like Vegeta blows up this one of Frieza's soldiers, and it's like his hand looks so awkward, and I'm just like, why did they make his hand look so damn awkward? But it's pretty clear that Dragon Ball Super is a cash grab. It's so obvious that it's a cash grab. Um, but I still would say it's like a comfort show. But writing wise, it is a zero. Like it has no writing. Like some of the arcs are literally so forced. It's like, why are you forcing this? The whole idea of making Revival F and Battle of the Gods two arcs in the show didn't really make sense to me. If they would have just started at the Goku Black arc, it would have been good. And if they took the manga version and made that the anime version, I swear Dragon Ball Super would be 10 times better. Um, Everything behind Goku Black arc didn't need to exist. We didn't need a Revival of F arc, and we did not need a Battle of the Gods arc that are 10 times worse than the movie versions. You know what I'm saying? We didn't need both of those. I do like some of the added scenes where we get to see like Goku and Vegeta on Beerus's planet, though. I really love Whis and Beerus as characters. They're really enjoyable to watch do random shit. Um, like I like how Beerus is always sleeping, and they're counted as like little cat naps. Like he'll sleep for 2 years and come back, or 4 months, or 2 months, or 3 months, because he's a god and he lives for an extremely long time, probably like 10,000 years or something, before he actually like dies or something. I don't know, or he may never die because he's a god. Um, but yeah, I really do like everything with Whis and Beerus, but it does feel weird when they're literally sitting there and then they're like Goku's fighting some villain, like when he fought Goku Black, and it's like Beerus is sitting right there, like nigga, you could help. So it does kind of break the show a little bit to have them in it because they're so strong and they should be able to beat everybody easily. But they always be like, oh, you rely on gods too much. And there's a lot of writing mistakes. I've watched some videos on writing mistakes. I don't feel like talking about that here, but there's some writing mistakes. Like the whole timeline thing is always horrible. I've heard people say that there's 4 Dragon Ball timelines. I've heard people say there's 7. I've heard people say there's only 2. It's just like, bro, the whole timeline, Future Trunks timeline thing is just all over the place. I always so thought it's weird that they changed Future Trunks' whole design. Like they made him look more like a little kid in Dragon Ball Super, and they changed his hair color to blue. But if you go back and you watch Dragon Ball Z, Trunks looks badass in Dragon Ball Z. In Dragon Ball Super, I don't know why they changed his hair color to blue and made him scrawnier, and he's wearing like a random green shirt. and they just made him look less cool looking. You know what I'm talking about? That's why if you look at Dragon Ball Fighters, they use Dragon Ball Z Trunks and Dragon Ball Fighters instead of using Dragon Ball Super Trunks and Dragon Ball Fighters. If you pay attention to the character designs, um, TN on Dragon Ball Fighters though is like a combination of like his old design and his new design. Um, but yeah, I could really go in depth with Dragon Ball Super. But if we're talking about enjoyment, the first time I watched it, I'll give it a 10 out of 10 in enjoyment when I first watched it. But when I go back and look at it now, it has so many problems, so many mistakes, so many plot holes. I give it like a five. Like I said, it's kind of a comfort food. Um, I wouldn't say it's trash though. It's still entertaining to watch, but I would say like it's like pretty much the most average of average shows, if that makes sense. It's basically like I said, Code Geass was. It's mid, but it's enjoyable mid. Um, and if you sit there and overanalyze it like everybody else does, you probably would give it like a two. Um, what else do we have? GTO. Great Teacher Onizuka. I watched this one in college. This show is like it's one of those shows, and this is a lot of anime shows do this, where basically they'll do something creepy and raunchy and then switch it to wholesome. Because our main character kind of low key starts out as a predator. He's kind of creepy, and he's supposed to be like 21, and he likes young teenage girls or whatever. But then it changes the show into him actually caring about the kids. He's a teacher. He's like a substitute teacher, and he cares about the kids and tries to help the kids as best as he can. So it's one of those shows where it makes me conflicted because I know he's a creeper, but it's such a good wholesome show at the same time. So like mentally I feel conflicted because I'm like the dude is creepy. The main character is a creeper, but he doesn't do enough creepy stuff for me to like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm conflicted because I really like it, but at the same time, it's like he does do some weird shit. Oh, we can talk about Golden Boy too. Hold on, y'all. I forgot about Golden Boy. Yes, sir. Um, I I give this show like an 8 out of 10 because it is hella wholesome. Even though it does start off as being creepy, it's one of those shows that's wholesome. He tries to help the students as best as he can. It's literally anime's version of like Freedom Writers and all those type of shows. Um, it's a really good show. But if you don't like raunchy, I would say don't watch it. And it is kind of creepy. Um, and I'm contradicting myself saying that I like this show, but I do like it. But it does make me conflicted because I shouldn't like it, but I like it because it's wholesome. It's weird, bro. It's one of those type of shows. But y'all know how anime is, bro. Um, but yeah, I do really like the show. I do. Next, City Hunter. City Hunter is very similar to GTO. I'm pretty sure that GTO got inspiration from City Hunter because the main character, Yo Saiba, is literally a pervert. He's a horn dog. He runs around grabbing on chicks and groping on them. If you're one of them females, one of them guys who's a feminist, you are not going to like this show at all. You're going to be so annoyed and you're going to get so irritated by this show because the main character does grab and grope and touch on females all the time. But back in the 80s, people didn't really make a big deal about that type of shit. But the show is actually very wholesome because he kind of does that shit as like a front because usually at the end of the episode he'll like save the person because he's a sweeper, he's a bounty hunter, and he basically goes around saving people and protecting people, and it's really fun to watch and it's a really good show. But it is raunchy turned wholesome low key. It's 80s fun. The music in the show is really good. I like the designs of the characters. I like Yo Saiba. Um, he's a pervert, but he's not really necessarily a creeper. You know what I'm saying? He's not like a pedophile. He's more of like a pervert. It's a little different. He's not like a sick freak. You know what I'm saying? But I like him and I like his show because he'll go from being like pervy to being like serious to being super actually serious and actually like shooting people. Because he'll do this thing where like he'll act serious for the females and shit to be romantic, and he's just kind of playing around. But then he'll genuinely get serious and he'll like shoot people. And he's really good with guns. And his shooting is so good that he low key stops time pretty much with his shooting. And I actually decided to watch his show because I remember seeing him in Jump Force. Um, I would give City Hunter a 9 out of 10. It is episodic. It's kind of like Batman, where it's kind of like a crime show. It's one of those style of shows, or like a Martin mystery kind of show. Um, but I'll give it like a 9 out of 10. It's really enjoyable. I love the music. I love the main character. I love his little this female that hangs out with him. Her name is Corey, and Corey basically hits him with a hammer every time he acts perverted. And he actually was best friends with her brother, but her brother ends up getting murdered, and those two were best friends. But the brother gets murdered, and then she becomes best friends with him. And there's all there. Of course, there's this whole will they, won't they, because they clearly have feelings for each other. But he tries to pretend like Corey's not attractive, but he thinks she's hella attractive. Um, but yeah, it's a really good show. I like its whole. This one is actually like really fun to watch. I really enjoy it. There's good action, and of course, it's from the '80s. And I'm one of those type of people. I like grown anime, and what I mean by that is I like when it's like a show where it's like a main character who's a badass who pulls a bunch of women. I like those type of shows, so I really like it. Samurai Champloo, 10 out of 10. Let me tell you why. Samurai Champloo has three main characters. One main character's name is Mugen. The other one's name is Jean, and then the third's name is, I believe, what was her name? Fu. I believe her name was Fu. And Fu is like 15, and Mugen is like 19, and Jean is like 17, I believe. I believe those are their ages. And Mugen, the way he fights is literally like it's like a hip hop thing. He's like unpredictable, but he's kind of like a hip hop fighter. He does a lot of unpredictable shit. Like he'll throw like a thing of hay or like throw something in the air, then he'll come out from the other side. So you can't really predict how he's gonna fight. And he's just kind of a guy with a sword. And then Jean is literally trained in a dojo and is actually pretty much a samurai. And they're so different because Jean is like professional samurai, and Mugen is just a dude with a sword. He wears red, Jean wears blue, and they fight a few times. And the reason why the show is good is because the animation is good. It's created by the guy who made Cowboy Bebop, and it's created by the guy who made Space Dandy. Again, this is another example of a grown man show, even though one of them technically is grown, the other two ain't grown technically because he's 19. But it's a grown man show pretty much. And I like it because, again, like I said, I like adventures. I like when people go on adventures and they go to different cities. And they go to different cities. The animation is really good. The fights look really good. And the music is iconic. Rest in peace to, I believe his name is pronounced Najabis. I could be wrong. Rest in peace to the GOAT. This anime affected me so much as a freaking adult when I was like 20 years old when I was in college. I got so obsessed with the music to the point where I literally was listening to it all the time. And it really got me into lo-fi, like when I was like 20. Um, I used to call it lofi. It got me really into lofi, nigga. It got me really into lo-fi though when I was like 20 years old. The music is iconic. I used to work out to it, go to sleep to it. You know, the anime really had this really big effect on me when I finished it. I felt kind of empty when I finished it, and I researched all his music, and then finding out he died made me really sad. Um, but it was a really good anime. It's really good, bro. There's people that say it's empty and it has no story to it. I'm like, y'all ain't watching it correctly or something. I don't know. It had a lot. It has a lot to offer, in my opinion. It's kind of like Cowboy Bebop in the sense of we're just getting a taste of what their lives are like. We're not supposed to have some deep, extremely deep plot for this show. Like the show makes that very clear from the beginning that we're just getting a look into their lives. But I'll give this show a 10 out of 10, in my opinion. Like I said, I go out for entertainment and I go off of how much it affected me. It affected me a lot. ReZero, I just recently finished ReZero. ReZero is a 9 out of 10. It was really freaking good. Now, this is crazy because I'm going to tell y'all. Remember, I said that I don't really like main characters who are like crybabies, right? But his crybabiness is justified. The reason why I say his crybabiness is justified is because the dude dies multiple times, my nigga. He dies like 15 times. Of course, you're gonna be depressed and sad and be a crybaby if you die 15 times and you feel the pain of dying and you have to keep restarting the shit and re-meeting the same people over and over again. Do you know how irritating, stressed out, and depressed I would be? I would just be like, fuck it. I would literally leave the land. And he tries to do that with, I believe her name is Rim. He tries to do that with her, and she's just like, nah. The show is good. I really liked it. I like how psychological it was, and I actually like how they kept repeating him, starting at different checkpoints, basically like a video game. I really liked that. Um, and of course, it's an izakai or whatever. It's one of the very first ones I watched. Next to The World's Greatest Assassin was another one I watched, and I got reincarnated as slime as a slime. I'm watching that one right now. Um, but it was really good, and I liked the characters had a lot of development, bro. He had a lot of development as a main character, and I liked how he was trying to like kind of predict shit, and shit would go like completely different. That kept me entertained. It's actually wild because they basically the creator, and I'm pretty sure it was a light novel first. I don't think it's a manga. I think it's a light novel. It's crazy that the creator literally just used the same idea over and over again of making him just restart shit, and I found that interesting. And it had a big psychological feel to it. It's a psychological anime, um, and I just like how he couldn't really tell nobody. It irritated me that he couldn't tell nobody that he dies multiple times because the witch had like kept grabbing his heart every time he would say something. Um, but I really enjoyed this show. I kind of wish it was a little longer. That's how much I was enjoying it, and I enjoyed every episode. When it got to the part with like the whales in the sky, I was kind of getting a little bored. But I really like this show, bro. Um, I like the part where he goes to the bar and he's trying to protect the girl or whatever because he knows she's gonna die because the first time they get killed inside the bar and he gets killed in the bar or whatever, and they fight like that really strong woman. I kind of wish we could have seen more of her. I feel like there was so much more in that world that we didn't get to see. You know what I'm talking about? Like I want to see more in that world. If I remember correctly, there's another anime with like chibi characters, kind of like Rock Lee and his amazing friends. I think is what it was called for Naruto, where they're like little chibis. Um, I might watch that just because I think there's one of that. It might not be. I might be making that up in my head, maybe. But yeah, I think it was really crazy when the blue haired girl when she tried to kill him, like when he tried to leave, and then she literally tried to kill him, and he reset it again. And but I like how eventually the blue haired girl ends up falling in love with him. And he pisses me off because she's a ride or die. She literally dies for him like 3 times, bro. And they even forget who she is one of the times. They're like, she never existed because he lives in like this mansion with her twin sister who has pink hair and with this white haired girl that he's like obsessed with, who's she's basically gonna become a queen. Um, and she's like part elf and everything. And her mom is the silver haired witch. And it actually turns out the little animal that she uses is actually the witch, apparently, if I remember correctly. Because I remember the animal saying that multiple times. And that's only something that our main character knows. Um, I would give the show a 9 out of 10, like I said. And I like how he had to kind of maneuver. He had to be smart. He had to like figure things out. Um, and I like how he tried to grow as a character. And he admits he's a coward. He admits he's weak, but he tries to grow. He tries to improve, even if he believes he's not improving, because he keeps literally getting resent back and dying hella times. I still like the fact that he tries to be brave and he tries to improve as a person. That's why I don't care that he's a whiny character. He's an example of a whiny crybaby character that's justified. And watching him, I didn't hate him as a character. I felt him in my heart. I felt bad for him, and I literally cried a couple times watching it. He's a good character. He's a good main character. And his crying is justified. Like super justified. Like, here's what it is. Um, I did not hate him as a character as much as he cried and said he hated himself and all that shit. I didn't hate him. He doesn't feel irritating like the dude from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Um, I give the show 9 out of 10, bro. It's a really good show. And that takes me to my next one. I ain't even gonna look at the list because I already know who I want to talk about next. Don't bully me or don't toy with me, Nagarata son. Nagatoro son. That one is a 10 out of 10 for me personally, bro. I like romance anime. And the first like 3 episodes made me freaking hate Nagatoro. I was like, bro, I hate this girl, bro. I was like, you little evil little bitch. Like, bro. Like, I really could not stand her, bro. The first like 2 or 3 episodes. Oh, and for the people who don't know, I don't care what y'all say. She's black and Japanese. That's her race. She's Japanese and black. That's her 2 races. Y'all can say she's just brown skin. I don't give a damn. She black to me. She looked like a black girl. That was they did that on purpose. Even though I ain't gonna lie, her sister looks Mexican. She looks black. Her brother looks like a white boy. But it's an anime. So anyway, ooh, there's that one show. Azuki-chan wants to hang out. That's a good one too. Suki-chan wants to hang out. But Nagatoro is a good anime. Starts off kind of rocky, and it does have a main character. I'm just gonna call him Senpai. He has a name, but I'm gonna call him Senpai. He is one of those whiny crybaby characters that I usually don't like. But Senpai during the show, he slowly stops being a whiny crybaby. Like I said, I don't care if they're a whiny crybaby as long as they grow as a character and they don't just continue to do that. And eventually he kind of gets out of it and he starts teasing her a little bit back. I like that. So it, 10 out of 10 character growth. Um, yes, Nagato is adorable looking because a lot of you guys think she's adorable, whatever, whatever. But I like how we get to see, all the things that he goes through and how he feels weak and all this stuff. And she's like bullying him and stuff. But we know for a fact that she likes him back. So it doesn't feel like a show where it's like this guy is just kind of letting a woman punk him and she doesn't like him. She actually genuinely does have feelings for him. She does blush. We do get moments of her being like, oh my gosh, he touched my hand. We get like feelings of that. We get like little examples of her liking him and we see her feelings in the show. So I do like that, and I like the slow progression of, him slowly becoming a little more masculine. I like that. I actually have some of the mangas in the back. That's one of the ones I do like a lot. I give that one a 10 out of 10. I really do enjoy it. Again, this is just my opinion. Some of y'all gonna say it's a 2 and say it gets on your nerves. Um, but this show is also kind of raunchy. But I like how Nagatoro does like a billion different faces, and she feels like a cartoon character. Like sometimes she feels like a Looney Tune, and I kind of like that. It makes her funnier, and she becomes less of a bully. She becomes more cute, and she tries to give him moments of being masculine. You know what I'm saying? Because she knows that she's kind of a bully, and she's very shy with her feelings and her emotions, and she's very uncomfortable with expressing her love and her feelings for a person. Um, but me personally, I think it's a good show. There's a couple of other characters. There's freaking Yoshi, who's like this goofy little white girl, and she's just goofy. And then she hangs out with this other chick. What's her name? I always forget her name. She hangs out with this other white girl. She has like this really weird name. I can't remember what it was. But she hangs out with her, and then she hangs out with this girl named Sakura. And Sakura is supposed to be like a slut. Like she just like gives herself away to a lot of dudes. Like they heavily imply it, and they even say it in the show a couple of times. And they all kind of bully Senpai a little bit. And Senpai actually goes on a date with Sakura, and then Nagatoro gets jealous. It's kind of funny. Um, what's her name? Goemon or something like that? It's something like that, bro. It's like with a G. The one girl I said, I can't remember her name. Her name's like Goemon or Goemi or something goofy with a G. Um, or whatever. But it's a good show, bro. I really do like it. If you guys like romance anime, I feel like you would like it. I would low key say skip the first like 3 episodes. I ain't gonna lie, because those first three will make you hate Nagatoro, bro. But I also like how we like meet her sister in the newer season, and her sister is low key kind of bullies her or whatever. But the show does go from being like some kind of, it feels kind of like a fetish, like the main character likes to get beat up or something, like on some BDSM type shit, and then it like switches over to him being more masculine and her being a little more feminine or whatnot. So I do like that, and she does stick up for him when somebody else tries to bully him. She sticks up for him, so I do like that. 10 out of 10. I think it's a 10 out of 10 show for me personally, and I like the mangas. It's just one of those ones I really like. Let me see. Ergo Proxy was freaking boring as hell. I feel like a lot of anime elitists put that on their list, to try to feel superior. That also goes for Neon Genesis Evangelion and Monster. And then they put Berserk in there to make it seem like it's like, this is a good list. Berserk is a freaking masterpiece, but those other three are bad. Ergo Proxy is so boring. I fell asleep. I fell to sleep. I fell asleep. I fell to sleep? What the fuck am I talking about? I fell asleep like 70 times watching that shit. I swear, I kept trying to watch it. I kept falling asleep. I'm like, this shit is so boring. I thought it'd be good because I thought that the main character looks cool. Like the girl looks badass. But the story is kind of, first of all, it starts off seeming like it's going to go a certain way. And then it kind of, at the end, it kind of just kind of goes all over the place. Like it didn't really know what it wanted to be. It kind of has the same problem that people say Ultimate Spider Man has. Um, but enjoyment wise, it was not enjoyable. The animation looked kind of cool. The story was boring as hell. But there are people who act like this show is like super deep. It's really not that deep, you guys. I don't know why you guys make it seem like it's so deep. It's a show trying to be deep. It's not that deep. Like I be saying, if you have to like try to figure a show out too much too, then it's not that good. Um, I would give it like a 2 out of 10. It was boring as hell. I'm sorry. It like started out kind of actiony, and I was like, okay, but I was bored like pretty freaking fast. 2 out of 10. It really ain't that good. Fairy Tale. I feel like Fairy Tale gets a little too much hate. The first half of Fairy Tale is actually pretty fun and entertaining to watch, but when it gets to like the Book of Zeref shit, it gets kind of boring. I ain't gonna lie to you. It also has some sex jokes I don't like. I think her name is it Winnie? I think that's her name. It's either Whitney or Winnie. I think it's Winnie. They made a joke about her boobs, and she's supposed to be like 14. I don't like the pedophile jokes. That's gross. Why are they even bringing that shit up? I don't care if Natsu is like supposed to be 17. That's weird as hell. But there's a lot I like in this show. I like the Exceed shit where they go to the parallel universe and they meet the other fairy tale guild and we meet the other Natsu, and that was cool. Um, I really liked Mystigan when he first popped up, and then when he turned out to be another Jalal, I got irritated as hell because they used Jalal too many times in the show. There's three different Jalals, and then two Jalals fused together, and then like Jalal was just pissing me off, bro. Jalal is just an irritating character in my opinion. I kind of like Mystigan, even though he's a Jalal and he's like the prince of the freaking Exceeds world or whatever. But I got tired of seeing him. Um, but one of my favorite characters is that nigga Gajil. I love him, especially when he gets the Shadow Iron Dragon powers. That shit was clean. I love how he was hella excited to get him a cat. And he got the big buff black cat. I think his name was what was it? Lily. I think it was Lily something. Not Lily Pad. What the hell's that nigga's name? I think it was it Tiger Lily? Was that his name? But he ends up getting the little cat or whatever, which was really cool. He was like, "Yeah, it got me a cat." He was all hyped, and I like how he starts out as a villain. I really love all the bonding moments of the guild. As much as people talk mess about this show, there's a lot of good bonding moments in it, and I love everything about the guild. Like everything in the guild is so freaking interesting, and I love the dynamics in the guild. I love Urza, I love Gray, I love Natsu, I love Lucy, I love Happy. I don't really understand how people can really hate this show. It's pretty fun to watch and pretty entertaining. The fights are pretty good. There's some good story arcs in there, like the one where it's like the chick who can't get drunk when she tells Gildarts that she's his son. I mean, she's his daughter. That shit had me genuinely tearing up and crying. I like how Gildarts is kind of a player. He has hella females he messed with. That's hilarious. Um, I like Leo. I like how we find out the one that looks like Ichigo but sounds like Sanji. We find out that he's actually one of the Zodiacs. That was pretty cool. Um, what else, bro? I like how Urza uses like different armors and has different swords and whatnot. I like how Natsu has like the electric fire dragon powers. That's pretty cool. Gray, I like his like curse mark that he gets. That's like Sasuke, and he has like the pink snow or the pink ice powers. That's pretty cool. The little joke about him always his pants and clothes always falling off gets kind of annoying though. I'm just like, all right, bro, that can get kind of annoying. Um, but yeah, Fairy Tail is pretty good, bro. I like the Eresian Saves. They're cool. Um, Even though I ain't gonna lie, it took me like 5 tries to watch this show. I tried to watch it like 5 times. I was bored like the first like 2 3 episodes, and then for some reason I watched it like a sixth time and I liked it. I don't know, maybe it was just I was in a different place in my life or something. I don't freaking know, but I started liking it later on for some reason. I don't know why. Um, that shit tastes like it tastes sour and gross. It tastes gross as hell when I'm thirsty because I put a little lemonade pack in there and I drunk all of it somehow. Oh, well, it's because I added more water into it. You feel me? You know, you'll add more water and the taste is like, it expands and you get less taste to it. So now it's mostly just colored water. You feel me? It's kind of like when you do that shit where you'll get like frosted flakes and you'll keep getting milk or whatever and whatever. Anyway, Fairy Tale wasn't really that bad. Like the first half is like I'll say 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. Um, but when it got to the Book of Zeref shit, I got bored. Um, yeah. So me personally, I don't think Fairy Tale's that bad. The second half is it's like 5, but the first half is like 8. I like the fairy tale. What was it? The hundred something. Uh, was it 100 Year Quest or whatever? I think that's what it was called. Could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if you want to. I like when we meet the first guild master and stuff like that, and we meet that girl that she's hanging out with, and then it turns out the girl doesn't even exist. She's not real. But then later on, we see her, and she actually is real. But we think that she actually made her up, like she created her, because she was alone on the island. I thought that was pretty freaking interesting. That was a cool little twist. Even though basically in the show they showed us that she's actually not real because they showed the names of them. I think her name is like I think the first guild master's name is like Melvis or something like that. Um, but we end up seeing that she doesn't. The other girl doesn't have like any information at the bottom. Um, but I did like that story where we met her and we met the first couple of people that she worked with to create the guild or whatever. That was really cool because they come to the island, they find her on the island because everybody else on the island uh, gets killed or whatever. And we actually see the other girl get killed on the island, so it's confusing how she's still alive. But then we find out she's actually like doesn't exist anymore and shit. Um, but the show's pretty good, bro. I don't really like Jalal and Urza being together. I ain't gonna lie. Um, Jalal just kind of annoys me as a character. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like I said before, but yeah, Fairy Tale is decent, bro. I feel like people just love to hate it because everybody else says they hate it because the show really ain't that bad. One of those shows, I'm like, the show's not that bad, bro. It's still entertaining. Um, it is. It does feel kind of like a rip off of One Piece, though. Somebody said it feels like a filler arc of One Piece. That's hilarious. I could see it being a filler arc for One Piece, but I do like it for different reasons than I like One Piece because I like it mostly for the guild, but I like One Piece for the Straw Hats, which is kind of the same thing, low key. But I like how the guild has more characters in it. You know, you follow more people. But yeah, like I said, 7.5 out of 10, 8 out of 10. It's not that bad like people keep saying it is. Ooh, Eden Zero. Let me put that on there. Eden Zero. Was it Rave Master? That was the other one. Rave Master was boring as shit. Somebody said that Rave Master was better than Fairy Tail. I watched that shit. I was bored. Freaking 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10. I was hella bored watching that shit. Um, what else do we got? The Devil May Cry anime, which is like only a few episodes, but it's on YouTube. That one kept making me fall asleep, but I don't think it's bad. I kind of enjoyed it a little bit. I think it's just because I know Dante is like super overpowered because I play Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and I know this nigga is hella strong. And I haven't played the Devil May Cry games, but I've seen how he fights. So it's kind of like it kind of makes it boring because you know he's hella strong, low key. But it's still kind of good though. I will go back. I'm gonna go back and watch it and see if I still like it. See if I like it. I want to like that one. It's one of the ones I just really want to like. But if I'm going off of like how I feel right now, I give it like a 7 out of 10. It's really not that bad. There's not really a lot to say about it though. It's just like random little adventures. It's kind of like Dante's basically like a bounty hunter in that shit. He just does like odd jobs, kind of like Genzama. Let me see. One Punch Man season 1 is fire as fuck. 10 out of 10. Shit's amazing. I mean, what else can I say? Animation is fire. He's the perfect overpowered character. I love how he's like obsessed with getting food from the store and playing video games. Makes me like him even more. Um, 100 push-ups, get buff as hell. I love One Punch Man. There's not really anything else I can really say. It's just fire as hell. A lot of you guys have an obsession with the little green hair girl. I don't like. She's supposed to be like 20 something or whatever. I mean, she's cute, but they make her look like she's like a little girl, and it irritates me. It's like you could have just made. I do like when the dude who does the manga for One Punch Man. I like how he does it because he actually makes her look like a grown woman who's just short because he puts so much detail in it. I like that because he makes her look like a young female who's like she looks like she's in her 20s. You feel what I'm saying? She doesn't look like a little girl. So I like how she does it. I think his name is One. I like the One Punch Man webtoon though. I like how goofy it looks, and I like how he slowly has improved his art. Like it's gotten way better over time. Um, so yeah, One Punch Man, 10 out of 10. Um, season 2 was still pretty good, even though Studio Madhouse went in for that first season. God dang, the first season of One Punch Man looks freaking beautiful. God damn. 10 out of 10, bro. It just looks amazing. Um, that's all I really have to say for it. Assassination Classroom, 10 out of 10. Mostly because that ending made me cry like a baby. Um, when the main character, the boy with the blue hair that everybody thinks is a girl, when he was about to stab Koro Sensei, and Koro Sensei was like, I don't like seeing you like this, or whatever. That shit had me sad as hell, but I also love the classroom because you can tell this show is inspired by GTO a little bit, but it's with assassins. And I like how the show is basically them trying to assassinate him the whole show. That's entertaining as hell. And I just love it. It's fun to watch. I'll give it 10 out of 10. It was entertaining to me. There's not really a super big highlights besides that, but it's still an entertaining show. Black Lagoon. Black Lagoon is a good ass show. I would give Black Lagoon a 10 out of 10. It's a good show to watch at like 3 o'clock in the morning. They say fuck like a million times in this show, and this show is pretty raunchy, and the show is pretty crazy. We're following a main character. His name is Rock. He gets kidnapped by some pirates. One of them is Revy. Another one is this big black dude. I can't remember his name. And then there's this like little white tech dude. And they're basically pirates, and they go on bounty hunter missions and assassin missions. And Rock joins them because he basically gets kidnapped, and he's like, fuck it, I'm going to stay with you guys because I think it was Japan he's from. They don't want him back. They don't care that he got kidnapped. So he's like, fuck it, I'll stay with y'all. And he joins their crew. He starts out kind of as a whiny baby too, but then he becomes really freaking tough really fast. He even stands up to Revy, the crazy psychopath who literally shoots everybody in the head. He stood up to her, so that's a real ass nigga. But he stood up to her. He's like, bro, you think you're so tough and so hard and blah, blah, blah. Like, he put her in her place. I was like, damn, Rock, okay. Shit, like we see some masculinity. I'm like, okay, bro. But yeah, all from El Bugatti, nigga. But yeah, I really like Black Lagoon. Black Lagoon is good, but if you're one of those people who's like gets really uncomfortable really fast, you're probably not gonna like it. It's not for the children. It says the F word literally every couple of minutes. They even say pussy hella times. I mean, it's an adult anime, like it's super adult. Um, there's also an episode that kind of fucks me up mentally with these two little kids. They're like twins and they're assassins and they kill each other. And there's hints of incest there. And it's just like, ugh. And I'm just like, come on, why'd y'all put that in there? But it's a deep story. I'm not justifying the incest. It was still gross. But it's a deep story because you can tell that these kids are really messed up. They got abused when there's hints they got abused when they were younger, beat, sexually abused, stuff like that. So they become assassins, kill people. And Rock feels so much like sadness for them. He literally, one of them gets shot up by this lady named Bella Lyka. Y'all gonna have to watch it. I'm not gonna explain the whole show, but he gets shot up by this chick named Bella Lyka. He gets shot up from her men, not her. She's like sitting down, and the dudes like shoot him because he's about to kill her. And that's the boy. And the thing about the twins is they like switch places sometimes and shit because they look exactly the same. So sometimes the girl will dress like a boy, sometimes the boy will dress like a girl. At first, I thought they were just both boys. Um, but yeah, there's a really sad scene though where like Rock is like holding on to the girl. He feels so bad for her, feels so sorry for her. And then it's crazy because Bill Leica gets somebody to literally kill the other twin. She's like, nah, both of these niggas are dying. That shit was deep as hell because she literally killed two little kids that got literally abused since they were young. It was pretty deep. It was pretty sad. I was like, it's an adult show, bro. Like I couldn't watch that around my mom. Like it's like a super adult show type shit. I'm saying that like I ain't grown as hell, but that's not something I would feel comfortable watching around my mom, bro. That shit, it's too adult, bro. But it was pretty good show though. It was good. 10 out of 10. I like it. Black Clover. Black Clover. 10 out of 10. But let me tell you this. I tried to watch Black Clover like 3 times. The first like 20 episodes are boring as hell. It literally like has you like slumped over sleep. But then it goes from literally like a 2 to like a freaking 7 to a freaking 10. The jump in quality is wild. The fights go from being not that good to being freaking iconic. I'm like, what the hell? And then the story goes from being not that good to being iconic. First of all, you can tell this story has a lot of inspiration. The freaking captains is inspired by Bleach. The main character wants to be the Wizard King, which is basically like the Pirate King, like Luffy wants to be. There's a giant demon that destroys the city like Naruto. It's heavily inspired by Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. It's inspired by the big three. That does not mean that it's bad though, and it's inspired by Fairy Tail. because they literally take some of the characters and use them basically. There's like a chick who uses threads who gets drunk all the time. She's literally the same as the chick from Fairy Tale who gets drunk all the time but can't be drunk. They're like the same character basically, except one of them uses threads and the other one uses cards. And the one that uses threads has like this cat that can make her basically go back in time, low key, like go back in time for like 3 seconds, um, or change the fate of a situation. Like somebody dies, she can go back. Um, this show, you really like it because you like the guild in this show, just like Fairy Tale. Um, W for being able to take inspiration from like 4 different shows and making it super interesting. But yeah, you'll like it because of the guild. One of my favorite characters is Zora. This nigga be cussing and shit. It's hella funny, and he's like hella aggressive and crazy. And you don't even know he's a part of the Black Bulls because he shows up as a different guild. He's like in with a different guild of people because there's all these different guilds and there's different captains that are captains of all these different groups. Um, and he acts like he's a captain from. He acts like he's in a part of a different group, but it turns out he's a part of the Black Bulls because we follow the Black Bulls. Their captain is Yami. Our main character is Asta. He has a anti-magic sword, and he has a grimoire that's like an anti-magic grimoire. He has a demon, pretty much in him like Naruto. Whatever, whatever. And then his best friend is Yuno, who got a four-leaf grimoire. He's literally one of the strongest characters. He's basically Sasuke if Sasuke was nice, and that's why I like Yuno. Yuno's a cool character. Um, but yeah, this show has good character development, has good relationships. You will love the guild. I'm not gonna name every single character, talk about every single character. Um, that'll make this video like 4 or 5 hours long. It's already almost 3 hours long. But yeah, it's a good show. 10 out of 10. It literally goes from being a 2 to a 10. It's kind of wild. It's one of the only shows I've seen make that big of a jump because there's an elf arc, and once it gets to the elf arc, it's freaking amazing. We literally meet one of the first wizard kings and shit. It's mind blowing, and the villain is really cool looking. I like how he looks. He looks badass. 10 out of 10 is Shonen. 10 out of 10. It literally, if it wasn't for that second half, it would have been like a 4. Like literally, it's kind of crazy. Let me see here. Space Dandy, 10 out of 10. Let me tell you why. This is another example of an adult anime. And what I mean by that is it's an adult male who tries to get females. And it makes this show even better because it's in space and they go to different planets and shit. And he's basically kind of like a bounty hunter too, pretty much. He's kind of like Yo Saiba from City Hunter or Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop, where he basically goes into space and he tries to get titties. He literally goes to a titty bar all the time. It's kind of funny. I might go back and rewatch that one. That one's it's super funny. But he's like going around space with this robot and this cat, and the cat says it's not a cat because it's a specific species of cat. It's like a cat alien thing. Um, and they go on like adventures in space. It's really good. One of my favorite episodes is the one where there's like a fake space dandy, but he's so similar to the real space dandy they can't tell the difference. That's one of the funniest episodes. 10 out of 10 episodes. 10 out of 10 anime. You'll like it if you like goofy main characters who are adults that go to titty bars in space. I mean, what else do you need to know? Created by the same dude who made Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop. Next, Cowboy Bebop, 10 out of 10. Let me tell you why. I like the animation of it. I like the music of it. I like the music of it. I like the main character. Spike Spiegel is literally the most badass main anime character of all time. I love Faye. Faye is iconic. She's literally sexy as fuck, gorgeous as fuck. Her style is clean. I like Ed. Ed is clean. I like how she's literally just a goofy little girl who knows how to build a lot of stuff. She's hella smart. I love Jet Black because he's literally a big buff dude with a metal arm. Like, what? How can you have a metal arm? That's awesome. Just like Spider-Man. Like, hey, for real, bro. He's just cool, bro. I love Jet Black. And I love how we get just a little taste of their life. The show is not supposed to be deep in the sense of a super long story. It's supposed to just be a taste of their life. We see a little bit of their backstories, and that's all you need. And their backstories are pretty damn deep, and they do have a lot of character growth in a small amount of time. And like I said before, it's one of those shows where they go to different planets, and Spike is a bounty hunter. And I love sci-fi shows where there's main characters who go to different planets. So 10 out of 10 because of that. It has everything I like. Badass main character, character development. They go to different places and different locations. They're not in the same place all the time. 10 out of 10. I don't need to say anything else. It's amazing. And it's iconic. Let's see. Yu Yu Hakusho, 15 out of 10. This show is amazing, and the reason why I really like it is I love the freaking Dark Tournament arc. It's one of my favorite arcs of all time. I freaking love it. I love a tournament arc. I don't give a damn. It's one of the most iconic tournament arcs that I've ever seen in an anime, and I just freaking love it. The cast is amazing. How do you not like Kuwabara, the man with the heart of gold? That's kind of an aggressive idiot, but he's so freaking lovable. We freaking love Kuwabara. I'll give Kuwabara a hug. He's a real man. I love me some Kuwabara, bro. No homo. I love Kurama because Kurama is like the chilled, calm, cool, collected, girly guy that every woman would fall in love with because he's so handsome. But he's a cool dude. I love Hiei. He's the badass swordsman with the freaking flame powers, the edgy character that everybody likes. And then freaking Yusuke is literally he's literally an edgy main character, which is pretty crazy. Because usually the main characters aren't edgy. So he's very unique because he's also edgy like Hiei. Like he's not a wimp. Like he's like, nigga, come on. He'll fight anybody. Like he throws hands like Vegeta. And he talks mad shit and he cusses a lot and it's freaking hilarious. He's like, Genkai, you crazy bitch. And this shit is funny as hell to me. Um, and Chapter Black is so good, bro. And it has good villains. Like Shinsui is freaking amazing. I freaking love him as a villain. I love the freaking multiple personalities. That was really cool. I love the little spin where we thought that those, like the little boy, we thought he was a villain. The little boy was playing video games, and then the shooter dude, we thought they were villains, and then it turns out Shinsui was just using them, and he actually the villains are his personalities. That's crazy. Um, really cool main villain, bro. Really cool villain. Um, One of my favorites of all time. Who else? I like the Three Kings arc, even though a lot of people hate that. I do wish it was longer. The ending is freaking all over the place. The anime gave us a couple of episodes, but the ending was really bad. And I do wish we could have got more with the demon world. I like the part where freaking Yusuke becomes a demon. That was really freaking cool. Um, what else? I like the demon form Yusuke has. What else do I like? And I think it's kind of crazy how when you read the manga is way different. Like the manga, basically, there's like the spirit detective shit. We actually see him do more spirit detective stuff in the manga. I'm gonna end up going and reading that because I want to read the beginning of that. I haven't read the manga. I watched the anime, but the anime is a freaking 15 out of 10. I freaking love Yu Yu Hakusho. It has like one of the best cast. It has one of the cutest chicks too. Um, Botan, I think is how you say her name, with the blue hair. She's the Grim Reaper. She's adorable as hell. She's literally the most lovable waifu ever. Um, Freaking what else? Um, yeah, the show is just iconic. I mean, what else? I can't really think of anything else. It's just a good show, and the Chapter Black is really good, but the Dark Tournament is just really fun to watch. It's super entertaining. 10 out of 10 show. I remember watching that coming back from college. I remember I had it on my laptop because my family, we didn't have internet. So what I had to do is I would download it when I was at school, and I would literally download all the episodes before I had to go back home because I went to school like 1,000 miles away. So I downloaded it, and then I would come home and I would literally connect my laptop to the TV with the HDMI cord or whatever, and I would watch it. I used to put like a whole bunch of anime on there. I have all of One Piece on there, literally from like episode 1 to like 1030 or something. I don't got the newer episodes, like um, it's literally up to about 1030 or something like that. I don't have like 1050 or however wherever it's at right now. I don't have. Matter of fact, I think I have it up to like 1,000, something like that. But yeah, 10 out of 10. Yu Yu Hakusho is iconic. I don't think it's overrated. There are people who said they were bored and think it's overrated. I disagree with that. I don't think it's overrated. I was super entertained watching it. I really liked it. I love all the music. I love the characters. I love the animation. The fights are good to me. I give it a 15 out of 10. It's one of my favorite anime of all time. Um, World's Greatest Assassin. This was an isekai. Um, I'll give that one a 7 out of 10. I think I would have liked it more if we got more story. If it would have been like 50 episodes, I feel like it would have been better. I feel like the ending was kind of anticlimactic. I ain't gonna lie to you. And basically, it's about a dude is the world's greatest assassin, and then he gets killed. He gets reincarnated as a little kid, and he becomes an assassin again, in a different world, in like a fantasy world. Because you know most isekais are just fantasy worlds or whatever. Like 99, well, all of them probably. Um, they're all like their own unique spin on it. But yeah, but it was good. I enjoyed it, but I feel like it was anticlimactic though. It was just like the ending was just kind of like man. Um, it was like a 7 out of 10 until the ending. The ending was mid as hell. What else we got here? Another overrated show, Monster. Monster made me fall asleep like a freaking 1,000 times. I don't understand how you guys can say that this shit is iconic and put it as one of your top five. I just feel like this is like an anime elitist top five because the shit is so boring. It made me fall asleep like 30 times. I'm like, I don't understand how this is good. The only parts I really liked was pretty much everything with Johan and him doing like the evil murderer shit. Like he's like a badass murderer, and that's about it. It has a cool badass murderer in the show. That's it. He's like a super iconic villain. But like everything else about this show is like a two. You could say it's mid to be nice, but it's really boring, bro. In my opinion, I didn't really got a lot to say about it. Um, Tower of God, the anime is mid. The manhwa, I think is how you pronounced it. Manhwa, manhwa. That shit is a 10 out of 10. It's like it's super detailed, has a lot of different characters, a lot of different story arcs. It's like One Piece and Hunter x Hunter like mixed together. It even has a part of the show. I mean, it even has a part of the manhwa where basically they have like a Hunter x Hunter type of hunter exams kind of thing where they have to pick their own squad and team. And the blue haired dude is literally like a rip off Killua, the one with the case, with the little suitcase. Our main character is not like Gon though. He irritates me though too. He's one of those main characters that I kind of hate at first. He becomes badass later on, but I hate him at first because he's so obsessed with Rachel. I believe is her name, and Rachel is like the most mid, most unattractive looking girl ever, and it like pisses me off. Some people said that she's kind of like his mother. I'm like, okay, fair enough, but still, I hate her. I don't like her. This show reminds me of Infinity Train, the cartoon. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. How the cars are all different and have their own communities and shit. Basically, the Tower of God has like every floor has like its own community and shit, and it's like different challenges. It's very similar to Infinity Train. I'll give the manhwa a 10 out of 10. I'll give the anime it's mid because they skip a lot of stuff. Um, Let me see what else. High School DxD. I ain't gonna lie, bro. When it comes to raunchy, I think it's supposed. Is it supposed to be a It's a harem anime. Um, I don't know if it's classified as a hentai though. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a. Is it classified as a hentai? I think it is. I think it's a harem hentai. I think it's pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. It's good. It's funny. I like hentai. Um, I remember liking it a lot when I was younger. It was hella pervy. When I was like 20, I like really liked it like 6, 7 years ago. Um, I think it has a pretty good story for a hentai, to be honest. It's pretty interesting as a show. You can't watch it out loud though. You gotta put some headphones on and watch that shit. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it's a good show. I don't think it's bad, but it is very pervy. But it's supposed to be pervy. That's like the whole point of it. It has some pretty chicks in it too, and they're all like immortal. So it's not like a creeper show where they're all like high schoolers. They're like pretending to be high schoolers, and they're all like immortal, if I remember correctly. Um, Especially the Reyes, I think it was her name, with the red hair. I haven't watched it in 6 years. I'm just guessing. Um, Pretty hot waifu. I ain't gonna lie. And I like the main character's powers. He has like this weird thing where he like turns into a dragon kind of thing. It looks cool. So should I give it a 10 out of 10? As a hentai, I'll give it 10 out of 10. As a show in general, like as an anime, I'll give it like a 7 maybe. Um, but yeah, as a hentai, it's good. I enjoy it. When it comes to enjoyment, 10 out of 10. I'm not saying it's a 10 out of 10 show, but enjoyment wise, it's 10 out of 10, I guess. Um, what else? High School of the Dead is actually a 10 out of 10 show. This show is so good, and I'm mad that the person who created it is dead. That makes me so irritated. High School of the Dead is a really good show. I was so entertained, not even just because of the pretty chicks, but because the story is actually good, bro. It's actually hella good. And I'm so bummed that we're not getting more of that. I'm like, damn, its vibe reminds me of Zombieland a lot. And I'm bummed. I'm bummed. 10 out of 10 show though. I really like it. It's really good to me. It's really fun to watch. I need to look up and see if there's any other zombie anime, and there probably is like 1,000 of them. There's so many different anime out there. Um, what else do we have? Space Cobra. Now, Space Cobra is another example of an adult show. Basically, it's like I said before, it's an adult show where the main character is an adult male who gets a whole bunch of women or goes and looks for women. I watched the movie for this on YouTube. You can literally watch it on YouTube. It's an amazing movie, has beautiful music, really good budget, and you can also watch the show. The show follows the same story arc as the movie, but changes it a little bit. Um, the show's story arc is a little different, but it's literally the same story. You can tell it's the same story. It's really good though. The main character is Cobra. He just fights a bunch of random people in space. He goes to different planets, meets different aliens, tries to get alien babes, and he travels with a really hot robot chick. So there you go. It's fun to watch. 10 out of 10 for me. It's what I like. I like sci-fi's where they go to different planets and stuff, and they're in different locations. So, you know. Let me see what else we have here. Lupin the Third. I'll give like I'll give it like that's also an example of an adult show. It's literally Lupin doing crazy shit, right or driving around a little car while um I'll give it like a 7. I haven't really watched a lot of it. I think I watched like 12 episodes of it. It's pretty good. There's a whole lot of different versions of it. There's like an 80s version that reminds me of Speed Racer a lot. It looks exactly like Speed Racer. Um, but then there's also like a newer one that came out in like 2015. But then there's a whole bunch of movies of it. And then there's like this unique looking one that like changes art styles every couple of seconds. That one's pretty good too. It's a pretty good show though. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but when it comes to my taste, it's like a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Um, but again, I do need to watch more of it to make a like a full opinion. But as of now, it's like 7. Like I don't think it's below a 7. I think it's pretty good. What else do we have? Fully Coolly. I don't think it's as iconic as people think it is. I'll give it like a 7. I think the art of it is really cool, and I get it. It's like a kid going through puberty, and there's a lot of different. They try to show puberty in different ways by having him do crazy shit. Like him being horny and having a boner is basically the reason why he has that big ass horn on his head and shit like that. Like I see what they're doing. I still give it like a 7. It's not as iconic as everybody thinks it is, but it does look cool, and it'd be cool to have a poster of it in your room. But it's only 5. It's like 5 episodes, I think, too. It's not bad though, but it's like a 7 out of 10, like 6 out of 10. It's like all right. I watched it. It's all right. It's all right. Let's see. Bleach. I know people are gonna complain and they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, Bleach has a bunch of issues, whatever, whatever." Bleach deserves to be the big three because it literally has the best anime arc of all time as one of its first arcs, which is the Rukia Revival arc. That shit is fire as hell. The fights in Bleach are all good. The character designs in Bleach are fire. The swag that the characters have in the manga on the covers is fire. The different styles that the characters have with their swords, the different Soul Reapers and the different captains, their different powers of their Zanpakutos is fire. I mean, and the first arc is literally the best, one of the best anime arcs of all time. Um, I'm sorry, Bleach is a 10 out of 10. It is. I don't care. There are people going to be like, well, why does he get so strong? Why does he get so tough? Why does he win so many fights so easily? That's because he's literally a hybrid. He's a freaking hollow, he's a Quincy, and a Soul Reaper all in one. Of course, he's going to be super strong. I like the difference in that, though. I like how he's a main character that has the powers of all the villains he fights. That's cool. Um, yeah, so I like Bleach. I mean, some of my favorite moments, I like the fight with Ichigo fighting Bakuya. I like the Kampachi and Ichigo fight. I like the Aizen and Ichigo fight. I like the Aquaria, I think is how you say his name. Aquaria. The green looking dude. I like those fights. And Bleach was one of the mangas that I read when I was 15. I literally checked out all the mangas of Bleach from the library and read them all in like a day, I think. I was like super obsessed. I was reading that shit hella fast. Inuyasha was another one. Ranma One Half was another one that I read. I remember reading Marvel Zombies. I know that's not a manga, but still. Um, but yeah, that's one of the first manga I've ever read. The very first manga I ever read was the Pokemon manga. I actually have those. I actually found those at Goodwill. I found pretty much all of them at Goodwill. It's kind of mind blowing. I'll make another video talking about those. But yeah, Bleach is iconic, bro. It is what it is. Like everything about it is good. The music is good. The character designs are good. The style of clothes that they wear is good. The fights are good. Um, like what else do you need? It's a really good show. Heavily inspired by Yu Yu Hakusho and Dragon Ball. Really obvious. It's really obvious that's inspired by Yu Yu Hakusho. Some of the scenes are literally exactly the same. But Ichigo and Yusuke do not feel like the same character, and the arcs don't all feel the same. So that's good. Um, but yeah, 10 out of 10. It's one of my, it's literally one of my favorites. Um, you know, because my favorites is My Love Story, Nagatoro, Bleach, Hunter x Hunter, Yu Yu Hakusho, the Pokemon anime, and One Piece, and DBZ, and Doctor Stone, and ReZero, and City Hunter, and Black Lagoon, and Black Clover. So it is what it is. Let's see what else we got. My Love Story. My Love Story is a 10 out of 10 when it comes to romance anime because it's one of those romance anime where we actually get to see the main characters, uh, his love interest. We actually get to see them date each other. That's what makes it good. We actually get to see them be boyfriend and girlfriend and date each other instead of it being like a will they, won't they thing. They're dead ass boyfriend and girlfriend in the show. The main character, the dude, he's big and buffish. He's literally the sweetest, kindest dude ever. Like I freaking love him, bro. No homo, but I love him. Like he is such a lovable dude. Like what the fuck? I love him. And then his girlfriend is the most lovable woman. She like cooks him little cookies and crackers and all these different stuff. She like bakes stuff for him. She's literally the best girlfriend possible. And it's the most cutest, sweetest anime show to the point where like it freaking hurts how adorable and cute it is, bro. It's a really freaking good show. Like holy shit, it's so good. Um, I'm not even gonna spoil none of it, bro. I want y'all to watch that, bro. Like go in there, open arms. If you love romance anime, you'll freaking love it. It's a 10 out of 10. 15 out 20 out of 10 as a romance anime. What else we have? Tomo-chan, that's a new one I watched. It's like a chick who's like who has red hair. She's a tomboy. She likes her homie. They're like best friends. She looks like a boy. She gets mistaken as a boy all the freaking time. She's actually very pretty, and it's a very wholesome anime. She be beating the hell out of the dude all the time. Um, I don't really like when they do that in anime, but I'm not gonna trip about this one because it's a romance anime and they do that shit. It's a good show. I like it. There is a character in it that gets on my nerves though. She's like this mean chick. They always have that this annoying mean chick who gets on my nerves. But I really like it. I like Tomo. She's adorable and she's a redhead. I kind of like tomboys a little bit, so there you go. It's good. 10 out of 10. I like it. It's quick too. It's something quick to watch. Um, I like shows sometimes that are like super quick and easy to watch and consume. What else do we have? Soul Eater. I used to watch Soul Eater in the morning time while I ate breakfast. It's funny too because I actually found out later on that that one was actually on Adult Swim, but I never watched it on Adult Swim. I watched it like 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't finish it. I think I was on like episode like 30. I heard the ending is different to the manga. Um, I liked it. It was a cool little chill show. It kind of felt like a slice of life, low key. I need to go back and watch all of it. But the theme song is a 10 out of 10. The fights were good. I like Death's son. I like the different poses that the characters do. I like the two pretty girls that are guns that Death's son uses. That's fire as hell. To have two bad bitches as your guns, that's just cold, bro. That's clean. Um, I can see that it has kind of like a JoJo vibe to it with a little posing or whatever. Um, I like it. I like it for its style mostly. I give it like 8 out of 10. So far, what I've watched. Even if the anime is different than the manga, I'm not really tripping that much. Um, but I like it though. It's good. What else do we have? We have Fire Force. I'll give Fire Force an 8. Fire Force was entertaining. I do think that there's a chick in it who has like this firepower, but she's like a kind of like a cat or like a fox or something. But there's like she like always randomly is naked for some reason, like her clothes get ripped up and stuff. They kind of do that a little too much. It's basically like a pervy My Hero Academia. I ain't gonna lie, that's basically what it is. Um, it's good though. I like it. I like the main character, and I like how he fights his brother, and his brother. How does it go? It's like his brother can stop time, but it's like he basically keeps dying over and over again. I think is how it went when they had their like final fight. Um, it's good. It's a good anime. I could be wrong about that. I might be saying it incorrectly, but it's a good anime. I'll give it 8 out of 10. And I watched all of that one too. Golden Boy, 10 out of 10 for raunchiness. It's so raunchy. The main character is such a pervert, but I love Golden Boy. It's only a couple episodes. It's really good. It's another adult style anime, except the main character is kind of simpish, kind of he's really girl obsessed, and he does do some nasty shit, but it's kind of funny. Like there's a part where a chick like literally spits at him because she finds him so disgusting. He's just like I'm like, come on, bro. Like this nigga wildin'. But that shit was hella funny, bro. I give that one a 10 out of 10 just for entertainment. It's pretty freaking funny. Um, and it's just something quick you can watch. It's something quick and raunchy. What else do we have? We have Gintama. Gintama is good because like I've said before, Gintama basically does everything you can possibly do in an anime. I mean, I can't think of anything else that Gintama can do. Gintama did literally everything. It has episodes about having sleeping problems. It has episodes about being a barber. It has episodes like serious arcs where it's like a chick is she's going through all this pain, and there's the arc called like it's like the red spider arc or the blood spider arc or something like that, or red spider arc, where basically it's like a chick, and her face gets scarred, and she has this master named Jiraiya, and it's literally like this most serious arc ever. It's one of the most serious arcs. Like basically, this show has goofy arcs, serious arcs, nasty arcs, funny arcs, sad arcs, deep arcs, deep super complex arcs, and then at the same time it has like short arcs that are like literally just an episode. It has filler arcs that are good. It's a good show. It's like you'll find something you like out of this show, even if you don't like some of the arcs. You'll like some of it. You can literally look up what arcs you want to watch for it. I watched it from the beginning a little bit, from like episode 1 to like 20, but then I started picking like what arcs I wanted to watch. I kind of like um monkey branch on what arcs I watch of Gintama. I'm not gonna lie. But I watched like the first 20 episodes. I already know who everybody is and shit. But that's how I usually watch it. I'll give it a 10 out of 10 just because it's done basically everything you can do as an anime show. I mean, what else can it do? It's done everything. I mean, goddamn. Like, literally, it's done everything. So I'll give it a 10 out of 10 just because of effort and because it's done everything. There is some arcs that are wild and crazy. There's one arc where we find out the little bird, the guy who's in the bird costume has a big dick, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And it actually shows the dick, but it's like pixelated, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching, bro? So it does, like I said, it can be super raunchy and have really super inappropriate arcs. Sometimes the will have like turds in it and dudes pissing and people shitting, and it does a lot of like little kid humor that you guys would hate. But again, you don't have to watch those episodes. You can go watch like a serious arc of it. And the movies are good too. What else have we done? We're almost done here too. Dr. Stone is good. I give Dr. Stone a 10 out of 10 because I know that the mangaka, or the author who created the manga, he had to put a lot of work in to think of all that science shit and to remember all that science shit. And then also have to draw on top of that is wild. So I give that a 10 out of 10 just because of that. That's a lot of effort and a lot of work. So I give him a 10 out of 10. He deserves the 10 out of 10. And the show is really fun to watch, and it does have its like sad moments that make you get teary eyed. I got teary eyed a couple times. 10 out of 10. Rurouni Kenshin, 7 out of 10. I got kind of bored watching it, even though I like Rurouni Kenshin. I also heard the dude who created the manga is like a pedo, and I'm just like, I just get kind of burnt out of niggas being creepers. Like, it's not that damn serious, bro. Like, calm down. Um, what else do we have? Um, Demon Slayer. Is Demon Slayer a 10 out of 10? Mm, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Well, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Because it starts out kind of slow, but the last like three arcs are really freaking good, especially that last arc. The last arc is wild. I don't want to spoil nothing if you haven't watched it. Um, I do get tired of Zenitsu. He gets on my nerves because he's a crybaby, whiny baby simp dude who's obsessed with females. He even likes the young ones that are like 10. So it kind of annoys me. It's just like, bro, you're just annoying. You irritate me. I'm not really a fan of most pervert characters. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do love Sanji, but I don't like how they changed his character. Like I said earlier in this video, it annoys me that they changed his character. Um, but yeah, Demon Slayer is good though. I like Tanjiro. Tanjiro is a good boy. Like he's literally a good boy. He's like the most sweetest, kindest boy ever. He takes care of his demon sister. Nezuko is freaking adorable. But like I told my sister, she's literally a puppy. That's literally what she is. Tell me I'm lying. Um, of course, I love Inosuke. Like, who doesn't love Inosuke? He literally has a boar on his head. And it's funny because when you look at him with the boar on his head, you think that if he took it off, he'd be ugly. But when he takes it off, he's gorgeous. It's kind of funny. Uh, like he looks like a pretty woman. It's hilarious. Um, but yeah, I love Inosuke. One of my favorite characters is Shinobu, and my other favorite is Rengoku. I love both of them. Rest in peace. Um, the movie was really good. The one on the train, that was really freaking good. That was a good ass movie. Y'all made me love a nigga so quick. That's crazy. I would give that show, that movie, I give that movie a 10 out of 10. It made me cry. Made me very sad. It's kind of cringe though when Tanjiro was like, he didn't lose, but it did make me emotional still. I still had like those tears going on. Um, Give it an 8 out of 10 as a full show because it does start off kind of slow, but I enjoyed pretty much all of it. But I wouldn't say it's perfect. I wouldn't say it's perfect because there are times when I'm watching it and I'm kind of bored. So I can't say it's a 10 out of 10. Um, let's see. Azuki-chan wants to hang out. That one's a 10 out of 10. I like it. I get excited when I find out that there's more episodes of it. When season 2 came out, I got hyped. So I would give that one, I ain't gonna lie, I give that one like a 9 out of 10. Um, I like those type of shows. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I like how Zuki Chan is so freaking annoying and it'd be like pissing off the main character. It's kind of funny. But she's like really pretty and she's cute and she's not underage. She's literally like 20 at the end of the show, I think, or like 21. And I love that. I love that the characters are actually adults and shit. But it's a good show. I like how it's about college instead of high school, but we do get flashbacks of them being in high school. So that makes it good. Um, but again, I love romance anime and I love ecchi anime. So it is what it is. It's good anime. I would give it like a 9 out of 10 because I get excited when I'm like, oh shit, there's more episodes. I'm like, yeah. I like the little dynamic of the main character working in the like coffee shop, and then there's like the girl with the glasses, and then she has like the older dad or whatever, and they be trying to see the main characters get together. I like that. Um, I really like that. That's like my favorite part of the show. Is like those two. They're always like and they be thinking with each other. And then there's like the main character has like the blonde haired guy friend, and he's trying to get them together too. It's a really good show. I've rewatched it like 3 times. I watched the sub and then I watched the dub when it came out. I always do that with anime shows. I'll watch the sub first when it's brand new, and then I'll watch the dub. Um, what else? We almost done, bro. Um, Garden of Words was a really good movie. I really like it. 10 out of 10. I don't think the movie was supposed to be romantic. I think it's supposed to be like both of them felt extremely lonely, and they all only people they had was just them. And they understood each other and actually listening to each other. And them sitting under that box in the rain was just a very romantic time for them. In the sense of like romance, where it's like it's not romantic in the sense of like them dating. It's just not romance. I use the wrong word. What I mean is it's very wholesome and it's like like platonic romance. It's more of like close friends, like spirit friends kind of thing. That's how I looked at that movie. Um, They really had this close bond and really like cared about each other, and it was just very wholesome. Um, it's a very beautiful movie. 10 out of 10 when it comes to beauty. 10 out of 10 when it comes to the topic of the movie. Um, 10 out of 10 because the movie wasn't that long. It didn't need to be hella long, and it wasn't. Um, Good movie. 10 out of 10. I say it's a 10 out of 10 movie. Um, what else we have? Eden Zero. 9 out of 10. I like Eden Zero. I like how it's about robots, and I like how they go to different planets, and it's a sci-fi show. See, it has what I like. I give it 9 out of 10. I like the main character. I like how he has like a gear power. Um, of course, it's created by the person who made Fairy Tale. Um, it's a good anime show. I don't want to spoil that one. I actually feel like people should watch that one as well. There are people who are going to say it's like a 4 because it's created by the guy who made Fairy Tale, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But I guess this is my unpopular opinion or whatever. Um, and last is JoJo's. Diamonds is Unbreakable. Is the best part of JoJo's. Y'all can fight me on it. That's the best one because the first couple of seasons were kind of mid, and when it got to Diamonds is Unbreakable, I was like, this is the best show I've ever watched. It's so freaking good. The one with Josuke is amazing. Take you higher. Yeah, that theme song. Dun, 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 that shit is so groovy. 10 out of 10 for theme song. 10 out of 10 because the fights are good. The animation is good. I enjoy the freaking characters. I like the different powers and the different stands. I also like Stardust Crusaders too. That one was good too because they travel, they go to different places. It's a group of unique characters. I literally cried when Iggy died. That shit was sad as hell. Abdul died like 3 times. When they played that little joke and they're like, that's Abdul's dad or whatever. Is his name Abdul? Yeah, Abdul's dad or whatever. That was hilarious. Um, but the parts before Stardust Crusader were kind of mid. They were like 6 out of 10. There's people who are like, oh, 6 out of 10? You can't disrespect JoJo. Nigga, come on, be honest. Were they really like top notch, bro? It got top notch during Stardust Crusaders. I ain't gonna lie. That's when it got interesting. And then there was what is it? Golden Wind. I think is it called Golden Wind? Yeah, Golden Wind was pretty good. Um, I like that one. That was a 10 out of 10. But Diamonds is Unbreakable is like a 15 out of 10, and then Stardust Crusaders is like a 10 out of 10. And then everything before that is like a 6. Everything after that I have not seen. There's like the what is it? The Steel. I think it's Steel Ball Run or something like that. Um, and then there's the one where it's like the one with the girl, and then the one with the dude that's on the ship or whatever. I haven't watched neither one of those or read the mangas or nothing. I watched 5 parts of JoJo so far. But yeah, that's my opinion on all these anime shows, and that is my rating for all these anime shows. And I gave y'all a 3 hour video. I hope it gets some views. If it don't, it's all good. I'm gonna make another list like this. I've watched way more anime, but those are the ones I could think of just off the top of my head. But like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you agree with me on. Tell me what you disagree with me on. Go ahead, correct me in the comments. I know y'all gonna correct some of the stuff I say, whatever, whatever. But I hope you guys have a good morning, a good night. Take care. Peace and blessings.